and we should be going.
Alright. Welcome back after a month-long delay to Bright and Tide. Lots of stuff has happened IRL, including meeting a bunch of these folks. But
It was great.
yeah, it was a fun time. But today we are resuming after the group managed to defeat the Anzu, one of the big threats of the island, and in doing so leveled up. You're all now level 7. The last time y'all took the trip down the mountain, transporting both the bell and the Anzu's egg, and using kind of Yoade as a pack horse, but traveling through down the mountain and then around it through the jungle, you encountered one of the other shipwreck denizens, one of the castaways of the island, a Ettercap, a spider person who was raising some large domesticated spiders, harvesting their silk, and actually traded some of the Anzu feathers for an armored shirt. I can't remember to whom, but
I think Rain got it. Yeah, Rain got it.
Yeah, Rain got the armored shirt.
Yeah, it was
that was when she discovered her tattoos.
Silk armored shirt. Yep, and after parting ways, you traveled through, encountered some strange acting lizard folk who attacked on sight. The lizard folk acting as if they were moving under a trance, and after roughing them up a bit, managed to snap them out of it and realized that they were also previous sleepwalkers who had been wandered, still not quite sure on what's going on, out of their village. And malnourished, yet still forming a hunting party, they were able to guide you all the rest of the way to the village, who was very grateful to see some of their members back, as well as seeing that the Anzu was finally defeated, a long terror of the island after it had been corrupted by what they believed to be primal tide corruption. And we ended with the party kind of meeting with the village as evening started to fall, I believe, as y'all were meeting with the chieftain, Chief. I should have thought better of when I named her, but Chief Chiss. Again with the alliteration.
Works.
Well, an older lizard folk of the moon scale, and you learn mother of Utroth, the war leader of the village, who you also met again at the village. Seems his hunt for where the sleepwalkers disappeared to has not been fruitful, as it has been. Well, they've never been able to track it down, so it's kind of a common failure that they both resent but have sort of grown used to reluctantly. But off with the lizard folk questioning who had dealt the killing blow to the Anzu, and the group looking to Ryoko.
It was them. They did it. It was a team effort.
When you said that, and it was really creepy.
I don't know how to control the echo.
It's good.
Yeah. It was everyone else. They all attacked at once. It was really hard to see who really hit it.
She's the one who put the finishing blow on the Anzu.
No. I think it was the samurai. I mean, look at him.
No, I'm pretty sure it was you.
No. Shit.
I have
okay. I shot the bird. Yeah.
And there's some laughter among the lizard folk that have kind of gathered around. And Utroth goes, "You don't have to be ashamed of your accomplishments." And
Ryan grumbles to say something.
but the chieftain, she goes, "Well, we were about to have our evening meal, but we would be more than happy to invite you to join us, and maybe we can prepare more to be more fitting for this occasion."
Yeah, sure. Well, we'd love to.
And I can't remember if I described the village last time. The village is near the beach. It's up on a rocky area above where the sandy beach goes down to the water, above the tide line, but it is still higher up. Like most of the buildings seem to be up on stilts, elevated off the ground, and a lot of there's actually similar to the other village. Some of the buildings are crafted from what look to be pieces of shipwrecked ships, and there is a wooden palisade of spikes, ringing the village, but what the looks to be some lizard folk standing up on like watchtower, like a few watchtowers. Not like complicated, but more like just three poles tied together, sort of like at the beginning of Princess Mononoke, for lack of an example.
Mhm.
But very simple. You just see some lizard folk up there with looks to be like bows and javelins. They don't seem to be expecting attack, but they're always on watch, considering they live right by the ocean. They guide the group towards a central area where there is a large central fire. Um, Not too big, but you see some lizard folks start tossing on more branches and dried palm fronds to get a bigger blaze going as more food is brought out and brought towards the sides. Like you see some old cooking pots probably salvaged. You see, spits with some fish, like a large jungle boar. You know, in very short order, they're turning what looks to be been just like a standard meal for the night into a small impromptu feast for their new guests.
Oh,
And there's no like big table. They just kind of sit around. Most of them sit on the ground or like carve like stumps or just carved logs and smaller individual tables that are kind of just scattered around. But yeah, you all can they all invite you to sit down with them and enjoy the meal. And you know Utroth
how
seems very sorry, was it?
is there? Is it all meat?
No, they're very omnivorous. There's fruits, there's kelp. There's actually quite a bit of what looks like plants or algae based plants harvested from the water.
Cool. All right.
Sea
Ryan
grapes.
sits a bit away from the others this time.
Fair enough. Mon's probably just digging into the feast, enjoying it as it is.
And so they took the egg last time. They were going to get it set up somewhere where they could take a look at it, assess it, and then tend to it until it hatches. And eventually, one of them approaches with the folded up sailcloth and hands it off to one of you, since it was what was used to cushion the egg inside the bell as you kind of nested doll it. Egg and bell.
should probably put that in the bag, Amon.
Sure.
And since it's an enchanted sailcloth, it folds up very neatly. Like, should not be able to fit, but
If I had
it's a
OCD, I'd be
nautical.
very happy right
It's a nautical high magic setting. It just makes sense.
now.
Absolutely fair.
And just not really asking for definite seedings, but the chieftain kind of looks at you all and goes, "Please, share about yourselves or the world. We don't really." And there's this like dry chuckle. We don't really get a chance to leave the island much, so we don't know. The only time we learn more is when new arrivals come.
Ryan just shrugs. Just they found me in the water. I don't really remember much before then.
She kind of squints at you and then just kind of nods as if in understanding, like, "Oh, yeah." And she mutters something in Saurian, and Amon, you'd be able to know. She just basically says, "Oh yes, the Tideborn." Basically, like,
Yep.
oh, that
Amon,
tracks.
Amon gives a nod, and he goes, "Yes, Tideborn, and Dracon, and Saurian specifically." And he goes to introduce himself. He's like, "I am Amon, samurai of the lands of Gardinia. We are doing well over there. Things have been better and are doing good."
Excellent. We've heard of Gardinia.
It's
Yeah.
it's a wonderful place if you ever get the chance to visit.
And Utrath goes, "Well, we never thought we'd be able to see the skies free over the Anzu, so who knows what's in the future now that you've come." And he seems like before he was kind of more reserved when you encountered him with the. Actually, if anyone wants to do an insight, just so if anyone wants to roll.
Sure.
I'd like to. Oh yeah.
I feel like
I'm
since
gonna
the
roll.
spotlight's been put on her, Ryoko's been like rolling insight constantly on everyone.
Oh God.
Why
I was
not?
gonna say,
Okay.
I'm gonna guidance myself, but no, it's a 9.
Okay, yeah.
Oh
so
my God.
pretty much the three of you realize, Ray, you're still just kind of like. I'm not gonna say pouting, but you are kind of a little more.
She's not
sitting off to
pouting.
the
She's
side.
She's nervous.
Yeah, so you don't really pick up on this, but yeah, the others, the rest of you, yeah, you other three who rolled. While he was more reserved and more, I guess, professional acting when you first met him with Orovir,
Mhm.
he seemed like he was acting more just professionally and like while he didn't seem disrespectful of you anyone, he was more like silently respectful of your capabilities. But now that you've arrived with in such a fashion, you've rescued members of the tribe who they thought were lost, and then coming in after killing the Anzu, one of basically the great beasts of the island, he's now looking at you with very clearly impressed, and he seems excited. And actually, Ryoko and Quiet Heart, you can actually see a little more that beyond being excited, it seems that now he's like wheels are starting to turn in his head as he's starting to think. And at the moment he just seems, jovial, in this little moment of celebration.
Oh fuck, we gave him hope. Ah, jeez.
Good job, Ryoko.
Ah, jeez.
Oh yeah. Also, last session we did do the inventory. There was one thing I remembered. Ryan, you do have the Medallion of Thoughts.
Yes, I do.
That's something that did
What,
get
Shady
mentioned.
Medallion?
That would be appropriate then that she took it.
She is indeed shady.
Anyways.
What?
So, oh, the shirt stats.
It could only help me
shoot,
by
I
a little
can't-
bit, but it was still better than my baseline.
Yeah, it was. I can't. I'd have to go back and listen to it, but it was.
It's fine. It's fine. When you just when
Yeah.
when you got it, it's not a rush. We're
Yeah,
having dinner. No one's trying Stacker yet. Yet.
Right. Sorry, I wasn't. That delay wasn't foreshadowed or anything. Someone had messaged me. That was just the weird timing on that. Anyways,
Okay.
so come on, you introduced yourself. Brian, you did, and
Come on, you awkward nerds, introduce yourself.
DM Stocky, we're trying not to jump on him.
oh no, that was kind of me trying to be like, well,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Next.
Invitation.
sorry.
Quiet Hearts will just kind of nod and say, I am Courage May Blossom in Quiet Hearts. I hunt demons.
Utroth kind of laughs at that, and he goes, "Well, you have picked a ripe hunting grounds, or well, shouldn't say picked, but you've come to the right place then if that's your profession."
Is
Kind
that
of
your profession, or is that just what you do here?
Is that,
Who's that aimed at?
Quiet Hearts.
is that in character?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. They don't really respond to that. They just kind of glance up for a moment and then just. It's hard
Okay.
to really describe, but they seem a little lost at the question and just shrug after a while.
It looks confused.
And kind of seeing that little bit of mutual confusion, I guess, the chieftain goes, "There are many scars and corruption left over from when the Ruby Empire controlled this island. No matter how many we seem to kill each year, a few more seem to slip through the cracks and appear."
I found a box, I think was one of theirs.
There's trinkets of theirs all over this island. Be careful, many of them can be quite dangerous.
No, noted. Those things I found in that little box with my eyes, none of them seem magic, right? The quartz, the
Nope.
imp quartz and the ring.
Nope. It was
Okay.
it was just like the ring was really tarnished and rusted. It looked to be more just like a signifier, similar to like the ring that was found in Gleaz's stuff.
Okay.
And the chieftain looks to Ryoka and goes, "And what have you, Bird Slayer?"
And
She
Ryoka
kind of-
looks.
She goes,
Ryoka looks like she just swallowed a dead pigeon. Like she's like, I'm. I kill people for money. And they paid me to help take out the threats to the people they were trying to rescue. And it's very, very simple. The samurai did.
Amon waves, gives a smile.
You paid her?
Yes.
All right.
There are tactics to hiring people.
So it's really very simple. It's why you should really keep the honor elsewhere. I'm not exactly a heroic type. I'm a scum who kills for money type. So let's just move the
And
attention train around.
Utroth kind of goes, apologies if it makes sense why you don't want attention. And he kind of purposely looks over to Ioane, the biggest person around. Like, there's like maybe like one or two of the lizard folk that are like big, like, but few are as big as Ioane.
This man of muscle. Man squared.
He looks up, realizes he's being addressed while got a mouthful of food. Sorry.
There's like another round of chuckles, but these are the lizard folk aren't exactly, they don't seem to mind about like table manners. They're not like ravenous beasts tearing into things, but some of them are talking with their mouths. Well, a little gross. But...
I don't know. Sometimes I would do it. I think it would be polite in the it would be polite manners in the company of Komodo dragons to just inhale your food.
True.
Well,
yeah, not a lot of speaking going on at Yuan-Ti dinners.
hi, I'm Ioane, and I'm very tired from carrying the bell all day.
And they kind of like look over to where the bell has been propped up, and you see one of the lizard folk is kind of like wiping it down. Not really like, not much you can do for foul steel without proper tools, but they're still just like scraping off some of the dirt and stuff that got stuck to it, being in a giant bird's nest for so long. And it's like, well, that is normally takes multiples of us to carry it down to the water when we used it.
He is very strong.
Super strong. Honorably strong, in fact.
His arms are like wider than I am.
I don't know. I mean,
Definitely.
don't sell yourself short because you came up with the idea to put the thing in a sled so it's easy to pull.
And he was so tough and strong, so valuable in the whole operation. Just really, really great guy.
Yes.
Now we're on like an island apart from everywhere else. Some people saying thank you to you isn't going to suddenly make the world know you did something good.
Oh.
There's like there's a flicker of anger in Ryoko's face that turns into like sulky pouting.
I thank you for the compliments. The food is very good. I'm going to have some more.
Those antisocial band of bastards.
It's kind of funny.
It is kind of
If they were social,
fucking
they wouldn't
hilarious.
be in half the problems they are in.
well, yeah.
You have two charisma casters, and they're both anxiety-ridden, like almost shut-ins.
Yeah.
Just because I could sweet talk my patron doesn't mean I'm good at talking to people.
It's like, I'm not a people person. Why do you think I talk to an elder horror?
Ergo, currently not so good at batting averages as my patron.
Yeah, and that elder horror isn't a people person either.
I just meant warlocks in general.
Oh, that's fair.
It's like, you think I went and talked to an eldritch horror because I like talking to people?
I've talked to a thing that literally does not understand humans.
So, and let's see. I don't mean to put you on the spot, Scott, but they do look to you, Corona, if you're up for it.
She just kind of glances up and like nods at everybody looking at her and towards the chief and goes, my name is Corano. I'm a cleric of the Storm God.
And the chieftain gives a nod. She goes, I asked the Storm Viper. Very powerful, very respected by the Moon Scale.
She dips her head again and goes, thank you for sharing your food with us.
Stop, the least we can do.
Yeah.
Stop being next to us.
The chieftain goes, oh, it's really the least we can do. We're not kidding when we say the Anzu is one of the great threats of the island. They're why we have to ring our village in spikes and put spikes on our roofs. Well, why we had to. They pick up one of the feathers that you had given them, and they go, now there is a chance that our island might be marginally safer. That we might be able to make things safer for the rest of the island as well.
Do you think so?
Without the Anzu, and this Uchoth speaks and goes, without the Anzu, those of you who can fly at Inaj to Corono, some of your survivors, the other castaways, might be able to make it back and get help, get word out. It's been about by several of you, when I met with the village during trade.
It will be easier.
That would be handy.
But that...
Hell yeah.
The chieftain goes, but that still leaves our great enemy in the reef. As long as they control the waters around it, people wash up here, they don't leave. And while this is our home, we understand this is not home for many people.
Yeah. It could be more dangerous, though, I don't know what I'm saying. Someone else would say something before I make more of a fool out of myself.
When Ryan says that, Uchoth kind of grins as he goes, "Oh, this is true. We saw the great metal beast that you slew at that devil's. Who knows if they had decided to test it on either of our villages, what could have happened."
I guess.
That's why I can't trust people like that.
The chief... Hold on, let me make a roll. She's kind of old. Okay. Yeah, she kind of tilts her head. She's like, and what do you mean by that?
Devil-born people. With the horns, and she points to the horns on her.
They
Graham audibly Brine audibly just.
Chief kind of gives a slow nudge and goes, the fiends from the outer planes, they are a menace here. But we've seen just as many victims who, and she kind of repeats the gesture of like when you gesture to your horns, even though she doesn't have horns besides her helmet or her headdress. She goes, there are many foul-blooded, much like you, that become victims.
Having
She
just
kind of-
been in this conversation with someone else, I'm just not going to get into it again.
She kind of gives a little worried frown, but nods, kind of realizing that, okay, yeah, maybe not such a good dinner topic. And she goes, like, looks down to her, I don't know, sea zucchini.
Sea zucchini. That's a new one.
I don't want to say sea cucumber because that's an actual animal, but those are gross. Although I think you can probably cook them.
If you
No,
pickled them, they
those are
might be tasty.
probably-
A zucchini.
I'm,
You know,
I'm pretty sure
I
sea
mean-
cucumbers are eaten in Japan.
Yes.
They are.
I was just thinking in the back of my head, like, zucchini would take the flooding of the world and be like, no, fuck you, I'm still growing. Eat a dick and die.
I mean, there is a. I guess it's not a plant, God, but there is a aquatic plant called a sea grape, which is eaten, and they're like tiny little algae clusters that look like miniature grapes.
Uh,
Yeah, I second Gray by saying that a zucchini plant would just take the deluge and go fuck you, because people drive by other
They
people's
outcome-
houses around here because they plant too much zucchini and they just leave porch zucchini no matter if you want it or not.
porch zucchini.
Yep,
It-
I've
it-
heard
it-
that about that of. You have to roll up your windows at church service during the summer, otherwise people will leave zucchini in your car.
They will just throw zucchinis in your car because they have no more room for them.
Zucchini exists to spite, and only to spite.
There's your advice for the week. Only plant one zucchini plant at a time ever.
And it will still.
Zucchini would probably evolve to float on the surface like sargassum.
Oh my god.
See?
Actually, zucchini. Oh god, sun-dried mayonnaise.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
just
like
awful.
the sun-dried mayonnaise.
Ugh.
Ugh.
That sounds like something
Futurama.
that Tommy would eat.
Yeah.
Of course, it's
Like,
shady to
literally.
post to it then.
I think even Tommy would draw the line.
Anyways, before I start getting more nauseous.
He didn't even see the mayo.
To assist in changing the topic, Ryoka says, am I correct in getting the sense that you're thinking of eventually sending someone out after the thing in the deep?
And Utroth kind of flashes that lizard grin that probably to other people, come on, you're completely nonplussed by this, but probably shows a little too much teeth. And he goes, well, since you've got the bell back, it would make such an assault easier. Sorry, I'm a little rusty after a month of not DMing.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, you're perfectly fine.
What would it though? Do we even know what it is? Do
Well,
we
we're
have
gonna go
any
find
idea?
out.
And she makes the three eyes appear. This is all we have.
There's
Well,
that like almost like crocodile growl bassy rumble as they see that the eyes as Utroth goes, enough that it's something that must be slain or driven off.
What we do have is a bunch of missing people.
It's another thing we just gotta kill. She like angrily stabs something with a fork or a utensil.
You've already, and it's the chieftain who says this. From what my son told me, you've already slain or dealt with. Excuse me. One of the. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. She goes.
Okay.
From what my son has told me, you've already dealt with one of the drains on, or sources of the missing. They were being sacrificed to this devil at her workshop. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
He picked up an empath after it was all said and done.
And then we found that there may be more people trapped in a series of mines somewhere on the island after we rescued those lizard folk on the way here.
Yeah,
Lots
right. That's
of
right.
missing people.
The lizard folk that we brought back. I told them what was wrong, so they should be going to your doctor to tell them. But they
Yeah.
all had.
Oh, yeah,
they've
that's
had,
true.
Yeah, what was it called?
Gold lung.
They all had gold lung, which is something you get from mining Aurum.
And the chieftain kind of frowns thoughtfully and thought. She goes, from what I can recall, there were no mining operations on the island when it was occupied by either empires. This place was a strategic location.
I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. It wasn't extremely severe, but it wasn't good either. So they've been at it for a bit.
That may help narrow things down. There are not many places you could mine on the island. There's too much moisture in the ground. It would flood. And I guess someone wants to roll. Who has a decent intelligence skill?
I don't think that's the greatest thing to ask this party.
Yeah.
I do not.
Intelligence, you say?
I got an intelligence of 16.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, if
I think
you
that's-
wanted to roll, you could do just an intelligence check. Dang, Ryoko's rolling well. Then you would assume, the most of the island is too swampy for mining and digging. Then they must be somewhere on mountainous area, somewhere that the water would drain away rather than pooling in the soil. So it'd have to be you kind of just.
Given the swampy nature of the island, if there was mining going on, it would have to be in the mountains.
And actually, I'd say with that, have a roll, over 20, you'd think probably not the Anzu's Island, because that would be too dangerous for any kind of operation to be going on. Actually, just
We can probably narrow out the Anzu's Mountain, given that there was an active alpha predator there for a very long time.
So closer to the Ankeg?
No, the Truth goes, no, that is well, not swampy. It is too. If there's any digging, they would have done it themselves, but it's different than a mining, digging through mines. So probably not the Ankeg. They'd be too aggressive as well. Although, and he kind of trails off and he goes, "There was that one strange." Never mind. You would think me crazy.
No, I don't think I would. Strange what?
A kind of size that goes. One of our scouts got close to one of the side nests and said they saw what looked to be a Ankeg hybrid humanoid. He kind of struggles
What?
for the words. He says, said it looked to be a tiny Ankeg, smaller than any of the other Ankeg, but armored like them, and was living in the small hive with them. And he kind of the small nest, and he kind of shrugs. He goes, "They are out on night hunt, so we could ask them when they could get back, but
Can
we
I?
thought they were maybe ate the, you know,
Can
got,
I look through
you know,
my
picked
book?
some fruit that was a little too ripe."
History or something? Arcana?
Mm, I guess.
Arcana? The Arcana work?
Sure.
Ah! Wait. 13.
Uh, I mean, you've heard of. I mean, I don't know if Rand. You vaguely
She's
get
looking at
the
her book,
impression that
so.
like you start flipping through the book, and you do see, and like that's the weird thing about your book is every time you flip through it, it seems the contents, except for what you yourself write down, the contents always seem to shift and change as you're
That makes
flipping
total
through
sense.
it. You flip through it, and you do see mentions of insectoid or arthropod base, to use above game terms. You do see mentions of arthropod people, and the like they mentioned, you see a mention of the Ettercap, which you just met today. You see Haruto being pointed out, and then you see this one image of like a tall, kind of looks like a grasshopper standing on two legs with four arms, but it's much taller. Like it's like an anatomy sketch next to like like an elf, and it's like taller than an elf is. But that's really, you don't really see anything about a short, stumpy one.
Guess it could be one of these, but really short.
And Uhtred kind of leans over, looks at the page, and goes, "Perhaps we'd have to ask them when they return."
She does a thing where like you're reading something you don't want someone else to read, and just like leans the book away from him. Hey.
And he like when you do that, he goes, "Oh, apologies." But as you've been talking, the chieftain, she had waved out like every once in a while she would wave one of the other lizard folk that were like tending to the food. She'd talk to them and like either get a refill of for wooden cup, or more food. But she had talked to one that had kind of disappeared for a while, but then eventually returns carrying what looks to be like a chest, salvaged, kind of wood warped, not locked or anything, but they bring it over and they set it down next to the chieftain and go back to tending to the fire or whatever they were doing. And he goes, "My son is very eager to take the fight to our threat, as it were. And if you would be willing to join him, we believe we can help. And as way of repaying you all for this boon you have given us by slaying the Anzu, putting it to rest when it should have died years ago." She backs up in the chest, and there's like a few items inside, and she pulls out a few items that are like wrapped in what looks like old sailcloth, and one of them is like kind of shortish, and she goes, "These items, some of these, two of the items we would give you are recovered from a Brine dwarf man who washed ashore years ago, and we tended to him as best we could, but he perished of his wounds. And
Oh.
he gave us these, on his deathbed as thank you for our kindness, as he put it. But we think you would find a better use for these. And she goes, as payment for dealing the final blow, one of the lizard folk carries this little bundle over to. Oh no, did I not put it in here? Shit. Okay, actually, first, before we do that, she goes, one of the items they had, and we believe this is how they were able to get to the island despite suffering such wounds. And they pull out what looks to be a turtle shell, like a sea turtle shell, as they unwrap it. And then they turn it around, and there are straps on the inside. You realize it's a shell shield, a shell shield.
Oh.
And she goes, sorry. People parked in front of the house. It was just my brother getting home. She goes, apparently this is a common, he said it was a common thing for his people. And while it is very useful, our gifts kind of make it redundant. And if anyone wants to do a history check, just for fun?
I'll try.
Oh, I can do history.
Never mind.
Why do
Oh, right. I don't have history.
I don't have history either, so.
I don't either.
I'm gonna.
What the fuck?
I'm going to
It's
guide
kinda-
it, not me this time. But courage, but quiet hearts. There you go.
Don't they need it out of 20?
I don't care. I have to be useful somehow.
Okay. So who is the guidance for?
23. It's for quiet hearts.
Well, I mean, Quiet Hearts and Amon would recognize it. Although Quiet Hearts would know the associated abilities. Amon, you've seen these wielded by Brine dwarves. They are fairly common, but you've also seen them. Well, you've never seen them in action. Like you saw a few Brine dwarves when you were traveling, wearing them on their backs. Like an imitation turtle shell. But here, I will show it since Quiet Hearts knew what it is. It is a shell of the Sea Warden.
Oh.
Hmm.
60 feet.
Yeah, it's goddamn, it's speedy underwater.
Yeah, this is.
Cat, stop.
I'll probably reduce the swimming speed, but
That's faster than I am.
Like 40 is still strong and still good. 50 is really good too. 60 is just crazy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna reduce that to
40 would probably be good.
40. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my good swim speed is a 40, so.
Yep. So they believe, the Brine Dwarf man wearing that is how he was able to get to the island, despite, as they put it, missing an arm.
Jesus.
All I could imagine now is that one scene in that weirdly 3D animated Beowulf movie where they're at sea. Except
God.
instead of a strapping fucking whatever man Beowulf was, it's just a fucking dwarf.
It's just Danny DeVito.
I mean, the Brine Dwarves would have, like, a nautical Beowulf story in their history.
Would, yeah.
Absolutely.
Beo Orca,
Oh my god.
the legendary sea wolf.
So, as they bring out the shield. They kind of go, "This is free to whoever wants to use it. Even if you don't normally use a shield, this would help you swim."
Quite Heart's their eyes actually like widen a bit and just say, "I spoke to a brine dwarf with one of these. It allows you impressive underwater movement and the ability to breathe underwater."
I'm
were
gonna just
quite
do
hard.
that.
That's cool.
I can do that.
I mean, I can swim just fine, but, you know, the whole breathing thing is nice.
I can do that too.
It also gives you a +2 to your AC.
It does, yeah. Which is garbage for me. But I don't know if I don't think I can
Like,
use a shield.
You're
And
not
it's probably
proficient
better
with
to go
it.
for somebody who can't swim.
If you're not proficient, you don't get the +2, I think.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
well,
if you're not proficient, you can still use it for the water breathing and swim speed.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
still very
Yeah.
useful if you don't have either of those.
Yeah.
Mhm. There's only like 4 of us who could use a shield.
Oh god. But I copy paste something from it, something into Roll20, and it didn't count the spaces for the paragraph, so I have to space something out. It's just a giant block of text. God.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Who would like the shield?
I do not need it.
Barb life, I get you.
It's a barb life for me.
I will say barbarian with shield is fun.
Yeah. Who would do the worst underwater?
I would say the tin can.
Probably.
Yeah.
I could swim. I can't breathe underwater yet, but I can swim on.
I have a thing that allows me to breathe underwater, but I cannot swim for shit.
Must have has one or the other. I want him on.
Oh, and although, are you sure, Ryoko, that you want to take it? I'm not saying that you're trying to take it, but would Ryoko really take it? Because putting that on her back would make her a Ninja Turtle.
That's the reason why I'm definitely not taking it.
I'm not taking it on grounds.
I'll just put on my air bubble helmet and like float to the surface. That's just gonna be my plan.
Amon, how are you in the water?
I don't have a swim speed.
We should give Amon or Kai Hearts. How are you in the water?
I'm wearing medium armor, so not amazingly.
So what you two? One of you two should probably take it.
Probably.
Oh God, choose.
I mean, well, I'm the DM. I can't.
That's fine. Well, Yvonne hasn't really gotten any magical items.
Good point. You don't even need to
I
use
have-
a shield, but like you can whip it out when you're underwater.
Yeah, I have magic.
I know you have a
items.
two-handed weapon.
He can wear it on his
Yeah,
back.
Amon uses the
Yeah.
the shield. If you're trying to use it for the armor, would interfere with using a bow.
Yes.
I think that's
yeah.
like the rule. You can't use a shield for armor and still use a bow unless it's like a buckler.
Yeah, but just no. Raven's character is not small.
They're 5'5", so they're short, but not small.
Yeah, it's a Gray's character that's travel sized.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's travel sized compared to Ioane.
That's true.
Who do you think carries the bag?
Travel size is relative.
Amon's got the magic bag. You just have the normal bag, that stuff that won't fit in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
The magic bag.
So just
Which, speaking of which, you have a lot of monster parts.
Yep.
Yeah.
so like, do you want it, Gray, or
You
This is-
have you take it, my
Alright.
friend, because you are a literal metal can, and I can at
Well,
least
true.
doggy paddle.
I mean,
It
it's
would
just
be much
chainmail.
It would be much easier to drag them on up to the surface.
Like I say, it is just chainmail, so it's not exactly a metal can.
Yeah,
It's a metal
fair.
net.
Still, it's a middle net. Yeah, you're already halfway there to being caught.
Metal net. Anyways, okay, I'll grab it then.
You take it. I'll use the
Now
bell's
I
magic.
show the C word.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say that also, being the archer, you would be able to stay in the bubble and shoot out. Well, Quiet Hearts would, have to step out of the bubble and then back in each time he needed to breathe, or they needed to breathe.
Mhm.
That's also true.
But I mean, it is a literal diving bell, so that's what it's designed for. So
God, I'm still angry how long that took to realize. I am.
It's okay. I had this thing planned ever since or that item planned for early days of planning this campaign, and I talked it out with one of my friends, and then later on, months later, as I bring it up again, he's like, "Wait a minute, you fucker! I just got it. It's a diving bell." I go, I explained that to you the first time I made it up. But as you take the shield, the chieftain now finally passes this little bundle over to Ryoko, and it's not big. As you pull back the cellcloth, it's a slightly rusty, looks like slightly rusty metal fish. Like it's shaped and detailed to look like a trout fish.
Thank you.
Do like an investigation check just for fun.
Okay.
As you're holding it, you realize the head is kind of jiggles, like it's not completely sealed, and you pop it off. As you realize it's a case. As the head pops off, and there are what looks to be a collection of ivory-handled knives that you pull out, and they're very fine-looking. Like the outside of the case very rusted and looks like sea-weathered, but these knives look very well taken care of.
Ooh, very much thank you.
And Rayan, I assume you have magic sight on.
Yes.
So yeah, both shield and this case and the daggers are magical.
That makes sense. What kind of magic's on the case?
I think it would qualify as transmutation for what it does.
All right. Interesting. He says nothing.
I have to look at the. Hold on. There's
Just
a specific
kidding.
spell.
She says nothing, but she doesn't know
It's transmutation.
Okay.
Transmutate.
Something you know well.
Yes,
I'm a-
indeed.
Yes, I'm a trans.
And,
I am the transmutation.
no, and actually, I'd say with that 20 investigation, you do see that stamped on each of the metal blades is what looks to be like a very small runic inscription that you've seen in other enchanted weapons. It's like each one is different, but you recognize it's oh, this is an enchanted mark.
A fish full of enchanted knives. Don't see that every day. Thank you again.
And the chieftain gives a nod, and then I should be better at describing the lizard folk acting more like lizards, so less grinning with their mouths, but more like that. Like they have this squinted look that you interpret as a smile, and they go, "There is a certain word, a special word, and she points at like this, like one of the spits where like a side of boar has been slow roasting or has been carved off in pieces and stuff, and she says this word. You can choose whatever word you want, and it's actually in Brine Dwarf. So whatever translation. Actually, no, it's the Brine Dwarf word for stab. Very simple. And she goes, "Tell it to stab," or tell it to. And she says the word as she points to the boar.
Yes, the dwarven word for stab. Fuck.
And Ryoka, do you do so?
Is there any risk of harming somebody else?
She's like, you get the feeling that's why she's pointing at the already dead boar.
All right, I'll give it a stabby stab.
And you say the word, and I need you to make a thrown roll as if you were throwing like a knife or a shuriken. You can just do your shuriken because it's a thrown weapon attack. As you say this, you see one of the knives leap up out of the sheath and start kind of swimming around your head as if the knife itself is a fish. And when you say the word, it goes darting off, completely missing the boar as you're still getting used to the aim. Goes flying through the fire, and you hear it thud against something wood on the other side before it like some of you lean over and you see the knife stuck in a post of like one of the other buildings, and then it just pops into like a little cluster of bubbles.
Is it back in the fish?
No.
Hmm.
But
Interesting.
I will show to players. I have acquired the razor trout.
Oh my god!
I had a feeling it was going here.
So basically, you get
Oh, okay.
flying knives
It recharges.
for She goes. The chieftain goes. I was worried about that too. First time I played with it, but they seem to reappear the next day. At least some of them do until school is full again.
All right, I'll try to get better with the aim.
You don't have to actually throw them yourselves. They launch themselves, but it is still considered a thrown weapon attack.
Hey, there's bonus action too. That's nice.
Yeah, fucking extra shot.
Yeah.
Oh, you could just
Like
throw
all
them at
my
once.
pretties.
You could just shoot 6 of them at once.
Oh, it's magic missile, basically.
Oh my god!
It's kind of like a mix of Melf's miniature meteors and magic missile.
That's rad.
Yeah.
But I saw that picture and I knew I had to make something out of it.
Hell yeah.
54
I
basic, not
fall.
bad.
Kill.
And the
right.
chieftain goes, there seem to be many things of magic that come to this island. We usually pass them off to the village because they need the extra help surviving the island that we don't. This is our home. They are unwitting guests and they need the help, but
Very altruistic of you.
she goes, we are happy to give you shelter for the night and your bellies, and perhaps we can discuss how or tomorrow, whenever, we can discuss how we can make this island a little bit safer for everyone on it. But for now, and she kind of gestures to the feasts, and she goes, please enjoy yourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, you can have a rather nice. It's uh, you okay?
Oh,
Excuse me.
shifting. My knee clicked.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Um, the yeah, lizard folk are very happy to have you. There's a few that seem to pick up a few instruments and like there's like a turtle shell lyre. Uh,
Ah.
he's uh, to get a little classically accurate. You see, someone that they're like one of them is kind of drumming, not like intensely, but just more just trying to fill there's like a hollow log they're drumming on, and uh, you see one of them kind of they takes like two or three of them to pull this thing out, but it looks like a large clamshell, sort of, in that there's like five tubes that like start small on one end and then grow bigger, almost like a fan shape or like a shell, and it's curved. And you realize each of those is actually a horn type tube as they set it up, and it's like, but at the bottom, the like you see the lizard folk kind of like open up this where the horns all meet, or the smaller ends all meet, and there's this compartment where they kind of open the lid, and you see them drop in what looks to be like crickets, and like five crickets into it, and then they close it up, and after a few minutes, they just kind of sit there, and group kind of forgets about it for a moment, and then all of a sudden, Ray, and you're probably the one who latches onto this immediately, as you hear just this, at first one, and then a few other chirping, croaking sounds echoing from inside it, and then the guy gets up, the lizard folk gets up and like takes a little, it's like a smaller drumstick, but and they kind of start tapping on the compartments, and each time he taps it, there's a single croaking chirp, like a chirping croak of what sounds like a small frog, amplified by each of the tubes, and they start playing, music with this little frog choir.
Oh my god!
And Amon, you recognize it. It is literally called a frog choir. It is a traditional lizard folk instrument, but it has spread to use on Gardinia.
Hmm.
This is the
And
best thing I've ever seen.
like Amon, you would know that each instrument is usually like five. It's like usually like 3 to 5, or maybe even big as like 7 frogs. And each frog is a domesticated type of frog that has been raised to make each one is raised to make a specific note that they're croaking.
Brain's eye fucking sparkled. Visibly sparkled.
Amon will lean over as close as he can and be like, they breed the frogs to have certain musical notes so that they croak in tune.
That's amazing. She goes over to listen to it closer.
Yeah, and it's unique sounding, but very, beautiful sound of just, it sounds like what the swamp almost did at night with the distant frogs croaking, but
More melodical.
arranged into music.
She's fucking mesmerized. It's also the first time she's genuinely smiled in the village.
Oh, Amon, you would actually know, someone that was a frog choir orchestrator, or a conductor. That's the term, conductor. And they don't call themselves musicians; they just call themselves it was a joke they made. That's like, oh, I'm just the conductor. They're the musicians, talking about their frogs.
Aww.
And but they say that it's actually a fairly common problem. You probably don't want to mention this to Rayan, that both among Truden and lizard folk young, frog choir frogs are the perfect size and brightly colored to be very appetizing, and there are more than a few horror stories of choir conductors being a little horrified that their kids ate one of their frogs. They're like, no!
Oh, no!
That's why I said probably shouldn't tell Rayan that.
Oh.
But, I mean...
Amon
It's
says
his power now.
nothing.
She goes over to Ioane and like tugs on his arm. Ioane.
Sorry, someone was talking to me. What'd you say?
She runs over and like tugs on his arm.
Oh.
Ioane, you're
Huh?
playing little frogs.
Oh, wow. They're very tiny.
We can't see them, can we?
No, not at the moment. No, they're in their little compartments.
Oh, shady.
Oh.
Shady. I mean, is that not what people are?
Oh, it's what gushers are made out of.
Gushers aren't made of frogs. They're made out of orphan children from the Victorian era. You've established this.
We have, actually. Which is why it's continually more and more fucked up that people keep fucking eating them.
Yeah. Really fucked up that you're eating them in front of the person who's fucking delighted by frogs.
I'm talking about the gushers.
Oh.
You judging somebody for their natural diet is just you being, judgy.
Vegan.
Made it clear that she's not judging you.
I'm sorry, bad joke, but you're judging someone for their diet. That's not being judgy. That's being a vegan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fucking vegan.
But
So
anyway,
you understand I need my daily intake of Victorian orphans. I have a doctor's note.
The misery makes them taste better.
If you have a doctor's note, I guess that's okay.
Oh, Malice brand Orphan Crunch. Okay. That sounds like something from Futurama.
The snack that smiles back.
No! God damn it! You guys are fucking...
Anyways. God. Remember when the Devil Dragon liked gushers because it liked to eat souls? Anyways.
Yeah.
Ryan tries to drag
Shady mentioning
Ioane
Drake's
back
diet
to
made me think of that.
There's not much, you can't physically force it, but he still allows it.
Yeah. She drags him over to the frog fire. Like holds on to him and just looks at the instrument with
I'm not
the
going to
light.
try to do Foley work for that, but yeah, it's like, imagine a Felix Colgrave video or something.
What?
I'll show you later.
I'll show you a video later.
Okay.
Yeah. They're just chirping away happily. It seemed that's what the crickets were for. Had to get the performers fed.
Oh.
So, yeah. It's a very nice little feast.
These frogs are
There's, like-
nicer than the clown.
The weather's fairly nice, storm clouds. There's like a few, clouds in the sky. Actually, it's somewhat cloudy,
Be right back.
not cloudy enough to be considered stormy, but you're on the ocean, there's always going to be clouds
Yeah.
for the most part. But yeah, like even you, Corona, being the storm cleric, you don't feel the tingle of a storm building. But so eventually the choir stops and the lizard folk saw. And he's like a fairly large lizard folk, and he's actually got some painted scales, kind of like makeup markings, but paint. Um, and kind of bows his head and goes, "Did you like the?" And he kind of says it thickly with common. Probably doesn't speak it more than definitely speaks Saurian a lot more. And he goes, "Did the performance please you?"
It was fantastic.
It was.
I think that's the best music I've ever heard, which isn't, hasn't been a lot, but still.
And
And back.
the lizard folks seems very pleased at hearing that. Goes, "That is very good to hear."
It was some of the best I've ever heard, and I've heard several other artists.
Oh, other frog choirs?
Yes, there are recent trends.
They say the Saurian name for it, but
yes, it's a fairly recent trend back home, but you have a wonderful mastery with it.
I've been raising these ones. Well, their lineages for many years to get them as clear sounding as they are. And he pops open the lid. And you realize it's like a carved wooden thing. It's like very masterfully carved, where looks to have been like a single piece of wood that they then carved into a single compartment, or like a compartment with, or actually different compartments, and each one connected to the tube on the horns is inside is each a different multicolored, very brightly little frog, and almost looks like a poison dart frog, but he reaches in, like pulls out this like green and purple striped one, and or no, purple with green stripes. Not quite like the Moon Singer, but there might be a moment where you hesitate, but it just gives this very cute little chirping croak. And
oh my god, Ryan is dying.
He's holding it, and he goes, seeing how excited you are, and he goes, "If you're careful, would you like to hold?"
Yes, 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 yes.
And he hands it over, and it just very polite, like he holds his hand over, and it gives a little nudge on the back, and it like waddles over onto your hand and then sits down. It seems they're bred to be fairly sedentary, because you want them to be okay with sitting. And you actually saw that inside the compartments there's a little layer of water for each of them.
Aww. Ryan's like,
you gotta keep your frogs moist.
Like
just
water
looks
in a
sad.
little.
I'm like,
Was that Raven?
So it's like watering a little bit of moss to like really soak up the water.
Yeah. There's definitely some cushy moss for them. And it just very calmly sits in your hand, and
she's holding her hand very still, but her body is vibrating.
And you see.
Flashing, there's also flashing colors.
And the lizard folk seems momentarily distracted by the light show, the color show, but then he you see him pick up one of the ones on the end, and it's kind of a very no bigger than the other one, just like probably the same size, and it's this deep maroon red. And then he's like, this is the oldest one of the group, and they give it a little very gentle tap on the head, and it just does this deceptively bassy, rumbly croak, like something that Teddy should have made something that bassy.
Oh, nibbler voice.
Huh?
Nibbler voice.
You guys are so talented. She's just like babbling happy sounds at the frogs.
And so, you get to bond with the little froggy.
She will not stop until stopped. She is happy just watching these fat little frogs chirp and be happy.
And yeah, you can eventually you can hang out with him for a decent amount of time, but eventually he does politely scoop them back into the compartments.
She doesn't protest, but she's like, "Oh, thank you very much for letting me see them."
Oh, of course.
As we all
And
start
he
to
kinda-
as we all start to sort of split up or intermingle, Ryoko's gonna pull aside one of the less official-looking lizard folk and be like, "So, is there a place for us to stay somewhere? Bunk down for the night?"
And they nod. They were probably one of the ones that was like probably still tending to the fire, cooking. And they go, "Oh yes, one of the. It is basically we kind of search for the word in common storage room, but it is dry and comfortable."
Seems perfect. All right, thank you.
And they'll point off to one building that's not too far from the Thunder area. It's not too big of a village, but yeah, it's like if you go and look at it, like once the group starts retiring and whoever goes looks at it, it looks just like basically storage. You see what looks to be like a bundle of fishing spears, piles of rope, both homemade and salvaged. It just looks like the place they put stuff to keep it dry.
Nice.
Oh god, that is a tiny little frog.
So tiny, so tiny.
He's fucking angry.
He's angry too. Yes, he's allowed. He's small.
And somebody is touching him.
Despite all my
Yeah.
rage, I am still just a frog in a cage.
Frog's gonna fuck you up, but a little bit.
Quite hurts with a Muppet.
That is completely fair, Shitty. I literally revealed nothing about them.
Oh my god, that is a tiny frog.
So tiny.
My
God. Oh my god, my heart. He's like, you can't kill me now.
It's like that thing has bones and organs in it. Damn it!
Yeah.
How'd you guess I was gonna say that?
Because that's the same thing I think when I see a tiny frog. Or anything
Yeah.
tiny.
There are some geckos. I'm just like, how are you a lizard and not an insect?
Explain your smallness.
I am small.
But and then there's the opposite end, Beelzebufo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
He's
god!
not a-
Yes, we get it. You have a motorcycle.
Beelzebufo is not even the largest frog.
The largest in my heart. I wish I could find a gif of him falling down the tree. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I need to watch the Prehistoric Planet still. There's 2
Mhm.
seasons of it now.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them.
It's good
Feels
shit.
like an
It
oversight.
may not be the biggest, but it does have one of the coolest names.
It does. It do. They recently
Oh.
though.
All I can imagine now is a Beelzebufo choir frog that
Oh my
sings
god.
Tenacious D.
Okay. I mean, the Demon of Song in Dark Souls 2 was a giant frog monster, so that would
So-
track.
Basically,
sense.
the Tenacious D's, I did not mean to blow your mind, and when it stings, it blows people to hell.
Sonic damage.
Yeah.
I did actually have I don't mean to keep tangenting my own game, but one of the few kaiju I've actually designed were giant frogs based off of spring peepers. That they were called peeper poppers because they could explode things with their croaks.
Fun.
and they were eventually adopted by humanity because they could be just positioned as sentries around human cities to deter other kaiju.
That's amazing.
Certain frogs are very sedimentary.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
Pac-Man frogs will just stay in the same hole, wait for mice to walk into their mouths. But
So yes, back
Yeah,
on
so-
campaign before we go on tangents again.
yes.
Yeah.
You're not helping, Shady. It's fine. Just day geckos are so cute. Anyways,
oh,
there's probably there probably are some day geckos or other geckos running around the island, but yeah, y'all have a nice dinner. So Ryoka, were you separating, going to?
Yeah, I'm doing that thing where you figure out when it's okay to leave the party and then leaving the party.
Okay, yeah.
It's like, okay, they're at the point where they would not notice my absence. Time to skeet.
Okay. It's almost as if realizing your unease, and Utroth, the lizard folk, walks up. I guess you would know he's a lizard folk. I don't have to say that. He walks up and he goes, "You don't have to stick around if you are weary of the day's events or just weary of company."
She gives him a polite nod and heads out.
Although, before you go, there is actually one member of the tribe you should speak to. They have another gift you may find useful.
Okay.
Trust me, they won't be.
No,
They
listen,
won't be weary.
you're lucky. I really love things.
And they nod and seem amused by that. It goes, well, this is something you would find very useful in your, and kind of pause, profession, as if he's trying to make a joke. And he points out one of the moon scale. It's a slender lizard folk as they approach, and they go, oh, hold on, I have to come up with a name.
Kelsey.
What?
No, it's just I was giving a non sequitur name.
Alright. Okay, this is Jeshi. She is one of our stealthiest hunters, and Utroth excuses himself to go back to the little party, and this lizard folk goes, "You are a hunter of people, yes?"
Yeah, that's a way you can describe my profession.
Requires it. So am I. Think you may find this useful. And they will go and they bring like a small little kit or like case, like a wooden case, and they go, ooze. And again, it seems like they're struggling to find the right words. They go, toxins.
Poisons.
Yes, and they will teach you how to make. They go, there is a plant, hungry plant. It feeds off of blood and the bones of those it strangles. Does not move quick. If you know what it is no danger. But it's the sap that seep from its thorns is very potent. I can teach you, if you find it out in there, how to refine it. And they will teach you how to make Void Mother Venom.
Ugh. That's a name.
Actually, I shouldn't have shown that to everyone, but whatever. That should have just
Well-
been for Ryoko.
Next combat, we'll figure out. We'll all learn what it does together.
And they will give you, as they show you how to mix it, spending an hour or whatever, they show you how to mix it, and give me a poisoner's kit check.
Yeah.
Okay. And with that, you get a grasp on it. It's not too different from refining other plant-based, toxins. But you've managed to make yourself one application of it. With you now know how to make it. Which, if you're traveling and you spot some, you can harvest some. And she says, look for trees where there are bones around the. Look for trees wrapped in vines where there are bones at the base.
Thank you.
Sometimes they will be like dark purple flowers, and she gives a nod and she goes, may that make your hunting easier. And she'll excuse herself, and you now have that recipe.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So, and Ryoko, I did the DC of 14
Mhm.
because that is technically what poisons that you make being an assassin. I'm sure this is a rule somewhere, or maybe it's even something that you do later, but whatever.
Mhm.
You use your own You use your own DC for poisons you make yourself.
Ah, I
Rather
see.
than it's like if you buy toxins, it would be the standard DC. But since you make this, basically what I did is last night I went into your character sheet under the spell slots and did what the spell save would be if made with intelligence, since that's your highest score, and that's what you use for a poison kit.
Excellent.
Neat.
So with poisons that you make, you'll be able to use your own DC. That's technically what your class is about, poisoning and assassination.
Killing him, yeah.
If there was anything else people wanted to do for the dinner, or just
Nope.
Claire's hers would probably somehow end up playing with the local children.
okay, yeah, there's a bunch of like scurrying lizard folk kids.
Yeah. Just just end up like playing fetch with hacky sacks or whatever.
Okay, yeah, there's a
random
few of
child.
them there's a few of the younger ones that some of the more younger ones, the closer to hatchling, they are more quadrupedal and they seem to take great glee in climbing up the chainmail as just like you got like just suddenly like large lizard children just clinging to you at one point as they're just climbing you like a jungle gym, because usually not people covered in metal that show up to the village.
Yeah. The eyes widen and squint a little bit, and the tail tell this person is smiling. Just like as they're just playing with the children and enjoying being a climbing apparatus.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Or as it's called here, the Uncle Fate.
Yeah.
So
After the frog thing, Rain kind of lingers a little by herself before asking where they're sleeping.
okay, yeah, you would be directed to the same room and little hut area. Ioane, you had a question, yes?
Easy.
Is DZ here?
Easy.
Well, hello.
You had a question?
Sorry.
I
Yuana,
did
you
not
had
have a question. Oh
about
wait,
monster parts?
the monster parts. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna look into that.
Okay. If you ask Utroth, probably the quickest way, and he points you to like the one lizard folk who's been like mainly tending to or directing the other lizard folk in cooking. Seems to be the chef, and it's this kind of contrasted to the other lizard folk. Their scales are a little more yellow than the darker blue or purple. There's variation, but they all have some variation, but they seem the more brighter colored as he kind of looks over and he goes, yes, what can I help you with? More food?
Maybe. I've been collecting lots of bits and bobs of critters. Alchemist over in the Alpha Village that's kind of far away, so I don't want the stuff to spoil and go to waste.
Of course. What you got?
Well, I got some meat from the Anzu, God's liver.
Hmm.
In fact, lots of bits from the bird.
You're saving it for the alchemist, yes?
Well, I just don't want it to go bad.
Haven't met him, but we have sent herbs he requested with other trade. So.
Yeah, and I don't know when or if when we're gonna get to the village again soon.
I mean, I could teach you how to preserve it.
Yeah,
it's not too hard actually with some local stuff.
That'd be nice, because I usually do this to fish, not weird, funky birds.
Yeah. Preparation would be different. Definitely different. And so this lizard folk chef, I guess he's not the chef. Roll a survival check, and wait, do you have butcher's tools equipment or?
I do.
Roll that, because that's still basically the same thing. It's expanding your use of those.
What attribute would you say that is?
What's your highest between intellect, wisdom, and charisma? Or I guess it'd be intellect or wisdom, which is higher?
Wisdom.
But to a voice that said that neither of them are very high.
Yeah. And I got the knife that gives me advantage on checks or something.
Oh yeah, the hunter's gatherer.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at it here. Well, it's a harvest portions, so I wouldn't really say this would give that bonus, because that's more for gathering it. This is more for preserving.
All right, straight rolling. Oh no.
Well, you're getting help. I was gonna say you're getting help, and so this would be advantage because you are being taught something. I meant to say that also with you, Will, that Ryoko's was an adventure, so you got that 20.
Nice.
Can I get
That's
some guidance?
That's much better.
Could he get guidance?
You're looking at the frogs.
I think you. Yeah, and you went back. Yeah. This.
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, AT. Yeah. So you learn how to by using some local herbs. They point them out. They've got the dried version and then freshly picked from probably the local gathering, and basically it's wrapping them up in a large leaf and with the kind of rubbing them with this poultice made, or this like salve made out of by grinding up these things, and it's basically like you coat the leaf and then wrap it, and it helps preserve it. So it's he says this is what they do for a lot of stuff when they're making larders and stuff. Um, it's the way they preserve their food and stuff. So yeah, you I'll think of like a specific how long it can, but now you know how to preserve monster parts a little bit easier without magical enhancement.
Yay.
And unless there was anything else, people start turning in for the night, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Chrono's been trying
Okay.
not to pay attention since the frogs came out.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm sorry, Nora, but Rono and Amon, there were cooked frogs available for dinner.
Alright.
They're
fine.
lizard. They eat
No,
frogs.
no. Ryan just avoid looking at anything meat.
I mean, there's probably even some, iguanas for food.
It's okay. She doesn't like give them any disapproving looks or anything. She just avoids
Doesn't
her
watch,
gaze.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all. They need to eat.
So, hilariously, there is like a mango or like mango type fruit that they do make into like a guacamole kind of mix.
Oh,
Nothing like frog and guac.
Kind of like a salsa. Yeah, they are very omnivores. So there is a lot of plant-based stuff. So it's not they're purely carnivorous. But they kind of do have like a marine iguana kind of look to them. It's just kind of hard to get that look in Hero Forge.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, yeah. So DZ's.
do I have a nightmare?
What?
Do I have a nightmare for the night?
Is that you asking before you go to sleep?
No, I'm just assuming we're asleep, so.
Okay. Everyone eventually you are guided to the little cabin or hut, storage hut. A few lizard folk did come by and move some of the stuff to other huts to give more room, especially once they realize how big Ioana is. They're like, oh, gotta clear it out a little bit more.
The first one to get here was Ryoko, right?
Yep.
Great.
She was the first to retire.
She goes to the opposite side of the room as
Is
Ryoko.
Ryoko awake or asleep when Ryan shows up?
Awake. I don't think she's sleeping well tonight.
Comes in, does a little bit of a pause when she sees Ryoko. Just, hey.
She doesn't say anything.
Ryan goes and just lays down.
It's very awkward.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, I assume you're like looking through the Chromaticon or writing in it, right?
Would like to look at the frog.
Okay. Yeah, you can even draw it yourself if you want.
She doesn't.
Yeah, draw a frog on the Necronomicon, see what happens.
She already did.
Oh yeah, you did.
That sailed.
More
Shall we
frogs.
flip through it, see if there's anything useful?
Okay. Oh, a charisma check.
Okay.
That's your
not-
magical modifier.
Yeah. 13.
12.
I mean,
12,
that's not
12,
terrible,
12.
considering the highest. What? God damn it! No!
Thank you, Callie.
No!
I'm
No!
sorry. Just funny.
No!
Okay, so you're flipping through, and was there anything specific you were looking for, or just flipping through since this book is weird? I don't know if you
Yeah.
realize that other books aren't like this.
Yeah, I haven't read another book, so this is just how books are to her. Yeah, my tome of Eldritch lore is just her baseline for books.
So, yeah, you're flipping through it, and yeah, it's a jumble. It's kind of a mess, and you're flipping through it as you're getting more tired. Probably how you fall asleep, but a lot of times just flipping through it. And like occasionally you'll stop when you see like an interesting illustration, or it's weird, like a photograph. But but you're going through it, and as you nod off, you flip to this one page, and there's just this really colorful frog that's illustrated as if it's like looking right at out of the page at you. It's just like, oh, that's neat. It looks like a portrait. And then as you just kind of sleepily, as you're admiring it, you flip over, and it's the same frog. It's the same page. And then you flip it over again, and you realize the frog seems to be getting a little bit bigger on each page.
Oh.
And then as you're just still like sleepily just kind of flipping through, eventually it's just this like close up of this frog, this almost color shifting frog. It's like just slightly different on each page, and even the eyes are like, the pupils are weird. They're like not like normal frog pupils, as it's just kind of, as you stop and look at this page, as you just kind of as it stares back at you, and
like, what a weird page.
what a weird reader. You see the text appear on the next page as if a speech bubble.
Okay. It's like, her eye glances to Ryoko and then back to the book.
You are sitting on a beach alone.
Oh fuck.
A giant half of Ray Ion on his head sits in the red water.
Shh.
Am I
It's a giant
dreaming
frog
again?
on the horizon. And the page flips, and you see scrawled. It goes, I don't know. Are you?
I mean, I'm not where I was a second ago. And she flips the page.
That'd be a good indicator, then, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know. I'm still getting used to being in reality. She flips the page.
The page is blank.
Did you just give me the silent treatment?
Reality is strange, ain't it? As you hear a voice come from the like gently rolling surf that's just gently brushing in. It's like a quarter moon, enough light to barely see there's a little bit of bioluminescent algae in the waves, but it's not too noticeable. It's not too thick, but it just seems like a very quiet night on this beach, except for this voice that seems to rumble out from this like tide pool nearby. It's like low tide. I'm probably messing up like when low tide and high tide come in, but it's just like there's this little isolated tide pool. You realize this voice comes from nearby.
Alright, she'll get up, hug the book to her chest. Are you over there? Hesitantly walk closer.
You see, as you get closer, you see first the stars reflected in the mostly still surface of the tide pool, and as you kind of circle around it, you see the moon for a moment as it passes, but then you hit this one angle, and then it's just as if reflected in the light, but you don't see anything standing in or out of it. You see the reflection of those strange pulsating eyes again.
Oh. She stops and her eye
You
like
feel
darts to where the reflection. Her eye darts to like where the reflection should be coming from, and then looks back.
Yeah, you only see this reflection. You don't see anything physical.
Yeah. Hello.
And you feel the book kind of rustle in your hand.
Oh. She opens it back up.
Yeah, it falls open to this one page where it's just this. As you flip through this book, you realize that not every page is the same. Some the textures are weird. Some of them are like damaged, like torn, burnt, waterlogged. The ink is runny on a lot of them. It's like a scrapbook or just this book made out of pieces of other books. But this page is weird. It's hold on, sorry, someone texting me. When someone sends you 3 texts in a row, rapid fire, it's like, okay, what do I need to look?
Sure.
Okay. Confirmation that the pizza's on the way. Anyway, sorry about that. I lost my train of thought. Damn you, pizza.
The page.
Oh, this
It's
page
weird.
it's like, I don't know, it's like got a pliant texture, but it's not like it's like it doesn't feel like paper. It feels like
It's just
something
skin?
else stretched. It's not like leather. Yeah, it feels organic, but it's not like leather like you've seen. Like
But
you
it
remember
feels like
seeing
skin.
pages of leather made it doesn't feel like skin though. Like you've actually
Oh.
encountered pages made out of skin in Gleaz's workshop.
Okay.
Like this
Fair point.
feels organic, and then you see the colors of it just like it's like a ripple. Starts from one corner, like where you touch it, and it just ripples across as it's almost like the skin or this page itself is chromatic.
Oh.
And then you see in just that almost hieroglyphic language of deep speech, it goes, "A curious hand turns my pages." Or turns these pages, not my pages.
I mean, these, what? I'm gonna lie, it's among the weirdest things that have happened since I've woken up here. So sorry? I didn't mean to get in contact with you.
Oh no, don't be sorry. As you see it like ripples across, this time in Aquan. And it goes, been quite lonely actually. It's been interesting.
You're lonely?
I mean, not much you can do trapped in the pages of a book. You need someone to turn the pages. You need someone to read.
I mean, it's my book, so how what is it? God damn it!
So,
I mean, it's my book. It's my book? How did you get in it?
I ask myself that quite often, and I wish I could remember because it feels embarrassing.
Okay, I mean, if there's anything I've learned in these this bit of time, on the mortal plane, everything's embarrassing eventually.
Hmm. There's not really it doesn't laugh. That's me laughing. It's just kind of like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, it is actually. It's all very strange, but
And dangerous too, I imagine. What you've been looking up is any indication.
yeah, the Anzu nearly knocked me unconscious.
Onkegs and trolls and other monstrosities. This has been an eventful week.
It's you could say that I'm shipwrecked. Are you related to the thing in the cove?
I'm just something in a book.
Uh,
All I know is what people write.
really? Could I insight this thing?
Sure.
No,
Go ahead.
just trust like that. Just trust like that. It'll be fine.
No, God, it's doesn't kind of matter because my insight's garbage. But see, it doesn't matter.
It's they seem like they're telling the truth. Whatever this
Great.
thing is, with eyes reflected in a tide pool and its words showing up on a color shifting page.
What are you?
Like I said, I wish I knew anymore. All I know is that.
What do you mean? How do you not know?
They didn't write that part of my story. You know, there's that saying, history is written by the victors. Well, yeah. Sometimes when your story is all that you are, that's all you are.
So something put you in here, you think?
I don't know. Maybe I was always just a story, a character.
This is very
a plot
confusing.
Point, a trope.
Okay, well, okay, you know what? No, actually, I think I understand this more than I have most other things in the mortal plane.
I mean,
sorry.
Sorry, I have to give it to you, Scatha. That's why it's the Chromaticon. You're speaking to the spirit of LeVar Burton.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
To pass up, but I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't mean to distract for the moment. Continue.
I get you. You don't remember for sure, but you could just be a concept, a thought, something that doesn't exist in the same way other things do.
Piece of undigested beef, stab of mustard, a spot of cheese. There's more of gravy than of grave in you.
Stubborn potato. Because I mean, that's good a guess as any. No one really. Everyone who picks up this book, no one can always ask the question, who started it first? And there's just like a little hieroglyphic of, like, literally a hieroglyphic of someone shrugging.
It's great. But you'd think I would know where this book came from, but I don't think I do.
Does it need to have come from somewhere? It's yours now.
I mean, it's always been mine.
It's your possession.
It is. I mean, yeah, but I mean, it was written. I think it was written for me, or about me. I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, maybe it's just because I'm trapped in a book, but I've heard that said a lot about different books by different people.
Well, do you know what I have?
You're the person who opened the pages. You weren't the one who pulled me from the ocean. That was your feathered friend, but you're the one who. You're the one I've latched onto.
Okay. If you
You're
don't
the one with the
know,
imagination.
I don't know about that. I mean, that's part of the reason I'm doing this.
I mean, you're the one. Okay. And there's like a little splash as you look up from the book back towards the typo. And the ripples have scattered the reflection of the eyes. And just bobbing in the water, there's. What color frog is it that's bobbing in the center of this little tide pool?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh God. A similar shade of red to her hair, like red, almost purple, maroon.
Does it still have? Does it have that same little bioluminescence?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. You just see this tiny little frog that looks like maybe a little, probably lifting her hair, jumped out or something, and it's just kind of bobbing there, looking up at you, with those same strange eyes, though, as you realize.
Oh, how did you? And she kneels. She kneels down to it. How did you get here?
There is power in a story. You write it, maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't.
You are confusing, but I think I understand. She reaches in to scoop up the frog.
And there is, feels like, the weight of a small frog sitting in your hand, just kind of gently pulsing with color.
Oh, how do you? You're a frog.
Right now I am. You made me a frog.
How did I? Hey, because
You hold the book.
because I drew a frog.
I mean, it helped, but
I like frogs.
your little doodle just kind of appears, of the frog appears on that color shifting page. And actually, now that you've interacted with this page more, you realize, well, actually, it is skin, not the skin of a surface dweller. This is like octopus skin.
Oh. Okay. Huh. So you're stuck in this book, and
Stuck.
me.
Yeah.
What?
And it goes, stuck in it, part of it. Yeah, kind of. Like, the little frog goes like, uncertain croak.
Oh. Well, what do you want?
I think the question is, what do you want?
Oh man, that's a bloated question.
Well, don't have to answer it now, just maybe you should wake up. And you wake up as you realize that you are still in the cabin, and you kind of were like situated by like a window as
Yeah.
you start hearing what sounds like the trudging footsteps of someone passing by.
Oh. By the window?
Yeah, like someone walking by outside.
Oh, she gets up and looks out the window.
You see a lizard folk that's kind of trudging forward towards the gate of the village. It's very late. Everyone's asleep. The fire is low around the village. And
Mage
do an
hand,
insight.
hand on his shoulder.
Do an insight real quick.
Okay. Can I guidance myself?
Nope.
Goddamn 10.
Okay, so you just see this person walking forward, and you do the mage hand, and it reaches out, and it's not like they shoulder away from it. It's just like there's that moment of resistance, but then they just keep walking forward.
Oh, great.
Since,
Right.
mage hand can only move like 5 pounds.
Yeah, she climbs out the window and she grabs her book before she does, but she climbs out the window and starts chasing the lizard folk. Hey, hey, hey!
Okay, so you get to them probably right as they're getting to the open gate, and you realize there's not really any other lizard folk on watch. Like you look over to like one of the watchtowers, and from what
That's
you can
concerning.
tell, they look like they had fallen asleep. Like
That's concerning.
from the silhouette, it looks like their heads down, like they're asleep. And this, you run up to this one lizard folk who's just walking towards the gate, and as you step in front of them, how are you gonna stop them?
She'll like come up behind them and grab their tail and try and stop them.
Unless, are you trying to grapple? Do a grapple check.
Sure.
Okay. That is an athletics.
Yep, this is terrible. So 16.
Hold on, let me bring up.
How did you roll a 16 on a 0? And then but a 12 with your charisma?
Adrenaline. So let's see.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, they're better strength.
Yay!
So you stop them, you're like dig your feet into the rocky ground, and you kind of stop. It's like you have to use both arms to grab it, as this is a bigger lizard. Like this lizard folk's bigger than you are.
Oh fuck. Hey, stop.
They yeah, you kind of sound like that as you're trying to stop them.
Yeah. And you've got to the things in your head. Come on.
And as you are like stop them, as they like their claws dig into the ground, they kind of whip their head around, and there's a moment as if like darkness shrouds what is their face, and in that darkness you see just for a moment a glimpse of 3 red eyes that glare at you before that almost illusion seems to dissipate, and this, as you realize this lizard folk is in a trance like the others you'd seen, just kind of snarls at you, and hold on.
Yeah, it's gonna try and bite me. I figured that would happen. I was expecting this, but
yeah. 16 hit.
16. Yeah, it does. Ow.
So, it's max damage.
Yeah. Oh, fucker.
So it like you grab it still. It whips around and just goes and sinks its teeth into your arm.
She bites her lip. You fucking. And her. You know the arm that's covered in bandages?
Yeah.
It pulses, and the bandages come loose, and underneath just seaweed and kelp and plants of the like that are underwater, aquatic plants just shoot out and like try and wrap around the lizard folk as she uses coiling grasp.
Okay. Strength save.
Oh well, yeah. I believe it still. Let me check. It still takes the damage. Oh god. Da-da. He's not grappled, but
well, you still got the grapple from when you grabbed his tail.
Okay, he doesn't take any damage because he passed, but like she's trying to wrap the stuff around him.
Actually, since lizard folk get a multi-attack,
oh fuck,
he's not carrying other weapons.
Okay. Ow. Cool.
So I think Corona, you have the highest passive, right?
I have a 17 passive, yes.
Yeah. A perception check with disadvantage.
I have a 19.
Oh yeah, both of you do. Yeah, both of you do a perception checks.
With
Actually, just
With this-
regular perception checks
just
because
normal?
you're
Okay.
because your skills are so high. This is giving you the chance for it. Okay, yeah, Quiet Hearts. I think you'd be the one to first wake up because you're always the one who's. Yeah, you do a lot of night watches. I think if I remember right.
They usually
So
take the middle of the night because it's darkest.
yeah, so you would, even though you're in the village, so you probably took the night off. You're still used to being awake, so you probably hear what sounds like a scuffle going on. Because
Mhm.
even though Rand didn't cry out at being bit twice, there is still that scrambling of feet on stone, you know.
Yeah. So yeah,
And
they,
then Chrono, you would hear it too.
Well, ow, first of all.
Yeah.
This guy is going to get a nice mind sliver.
Ow.
Yeah, that's. Haha. She just like. He like. Yeah, she's like struggling. He gets a glimpse under her hair.
Now, I need to check something. I
That
can't
guy
remember
like,
what skill check it was for their saves. Okay. Hold on, I gotta. So, Quiet Hearts, do you and Corano, do the two of you like burst out at hearing this?
Yeah, as soon as I hear something
Um,
like that, I'm gonna run out of the wherever we are.
Okay. So you rush out, and it's not too far. Like you can see it from where, like once you step out, because it was like the nearest exit from the village. You see a lizard folk latched onto Rand's arm. Well, uh, you see what you think is like this lizard folk is like tearing at her arm, but then you realize her arm has split into multiple pieces and like grabbing at him in this weird way. But then you see Rand. You do the mind sliver, and it drives a spike into the sliver into this brain clouded, and it's as if that pain clears the fog as this lizard folk, which had been completely silent except for the snarl of when it bit you, just gives the shout of pain and like stumbles back on his ass and clutching at his head. He's just what the fuck, basically cursing and sorry. And
she stumbles back and like the arm tendrils relent, I guess, because he said something and she know they hadn't before. Are you out of it? She clutches at where
like,
she was bit.
kind of shakes his head, wipes the orange blood from his mouth, looking around, is like, I was in my hut.
You had
Why
one
am
of
I
the
out here?
nightmares. The thing in the reef.
Oh,
It
I
had
did see
you.
it. Yes.
It had you. I heard you.
Corono and Quiet Hearts, do either wisdom or intelligence now that you like approach and you hear them talking.
Okay, my wisdom is higher, so.
Yeah, whichever's higher.
Oh my god!
What the fuck?
Rand says he was being taken by something in the reef, but he was walking towards the jungle.
I don't think he was being called by the reef. Corona's very quiet.
Yeah, she jumps.
Or
But you now see her arm is just a mass of vegetative tendrils.
Corona is looking at that, but she's gonna turn her attention back away and go, I don't think it was the thing on the reef. He was walking
No,
into the.
no.
He was walking into
It
the
wa-
forest.
I saw it.
And maybe it was taking him towards the mine.
Maybe it was. Fuck! I should have followed him. No, actually, that's really
No.
stupid. I had been following him by myself.
No, you would have had to come back for us, and by then you could have lost it.
It's better
Are
that
you
you stopped
alright?
it than anything.
Are you alright? To the lizard folk.
Oh, kind of, because I have the worst headache, but I feel okay otherwise. And he kind of like looks himself over, and then, like again, he reaches up, thinking it's his own blood in his mouth. Maybe he bit his lip. He like looks at it. He's like, "Oh, ugh."
That's my
Seems a
blood.
little alarmed at the color. He goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Yeah, her solid hand is clutching at a spot where he bit her.
And he goes, "I'm so sorry. That is shameful.
You
We're
were
not
you weren't
supposed to
you.
bite friends of the."
With
You didn't do it. That thing did.
DM. That roll, could I look around and see if there's any other lizard folk that she didn't notice wandering off?
I'd say you probably go into the air for an aerial view real quick, and yeah, you go into the air, and yeah, I'll just say it with that good of a roll. You look around, and are you the one who got the night vision goggles?
No, I got the gauntlets of swift armor, and that's the only thing I've got.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, it's still bright enough moon. I can't remember what I said the actual moon was. Um, I said quarter moon in the dream, but I can't remember what the actual moon was. But you don't see any lizard folk walking off from the village, at least. Although with the shout, it seems that it's weird. You realize that once you fly up, you see all three of the little watchtowers that are spaced around the village. All three of the lizard folk seem to jerk awake or like waking up as you realize that they might have been, knocked out. With that good of a roll, you get the suspicion that they might have been knocked out to cover for this one leaving.
She's gonna land back down and look at Quiet Hearts and go, the guards look like they were incapacitated, so nobody would notice this fellow leaving.
What?
Should we check them for wounds or trauma, or do you mean magical?
I think so, yes.
When I grabbed him, I saw in his eyes. I saw the eyes.
It looks like somebody wanted to make sure that he got out of this village and into the forest. The jungle, I should say.
Which means either this lizard folk is very important, or it can only lure one person away at a time.
What do you do?
I'm a diver. I go out with the with our I never thought of a name for him. He says the aqua name for ichthyosaur.
Okay.
Because we go with our fastest swimmers to scavenge from the seafloor, but for shellfish food salvage, and he just kind of shrugs.
I guess that makes sense why they would try and grab you then. You're good at swimming.
I mean, we're all good at swimming, but they
But you're a diver.
take us at random.
You train the ichthyosaurs that could potentially help us swim out to rid this place of that thing.
But we don't need their help. We have the bell.
Certainly, but taking away all advantage is not unintelligent.
Yeah, if it wanted to fuck with us, it would just have someone break the bell. Where's the bell kept?
It was being kept near the center of the village by the fire, but after the basically dinner, it was carted away from being kind of like a centerpiece thing, and you saw it. Well, whoever was one of the later ones to go out saw it being carted off towards one of the larger. You'd think maybe the chieftain's hut, because it's like the largest building in the village. Not really a hut, but it's it's too big to qualify for a hut. But it's the biggest.
How thick are the hut walls, by the way?
Decently thick. They're fairly close to the beach on an ocean that frequently gets some intense storms, so they're pretty sturdy. Pretty sturdy, actually.
So thick enough to block my magic eyes.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
You get the feeling that the village is actually up on the stilts, even above high tide, specifically for those times when the waters are even higher than normal. But
Chrono's
go ahead.
Chrono's just gonna reach out and hold out her claws for Rayan to put her arm in it. Here, let me see that.
I'm okay. He just bit me.
I know. It could go away.
Okay. She puts her arm.
Hit you for max damage both times. I just realized.
Yeah. Ow.
He got you pretty good, and
she puts her arm.
It's just in case, because you look like you're looking to go into the chief's, cavern.
Yeah, fair.
So she's just gonna pop cure wounds on you.
Yay.
Friendly little cure wounds.
Ooh. Goddamn.
Almost the whole thing.
Yeah, she's back. Almost back. Cool. Thank you, Chrono. I'll be back. Help him. Make sure he's okay. You two are good at healing and things.
We'll keep watch out here too, just to make sure nothing happens.
She hurries towards the chieftain. The chieftain's hut.
Okay. So you go over to it, and you see one of the lizard folk that has a spear and spiked shield. One of the warriors that seems to train under Utroth kind of sees you approaching and goes,
"You wait."
We heard. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, "Is you wait?"
Yeah, he kind of steps forward and he goes, "We heard a shout. Is everything all right?"
I don't know. One of your clan got affected by the thing in the reef. I stopped it. I stopped him from leaving, but he bit me in the process.
Oh.
He's all right. He's all right now. And she's her arm is just trying to weave itself back into shape. It's she's tucking it behind her body. Because it is dark. But...
Yeah, he goes. If you need healing, we can summon one of the medicine people. But
I'll be okay. But I just want to check on the bell. Because if this thing wants to,
and
yeah,
he kind of goes to the door, and it's not really like a door, but the door frame, and pulls aside this heavy blanket basically, and looks inside, and you can hop up, and there's a large central room that you're looking into. It kind of looks like maybe a more formal gathering area for the chieftain to meet smaller groups. She met everyone out in the village basically square, because you're a larger group and with a large man. And but yeah, you see the bell kind of off in one of the corners of the room. It looks like they had to actually open up one of the walls to get it in because it's bigger than the door is.
It looks untouched.
It's just, he goes, It's been sitting there since we rolled it in after the dinner.
Hey, good. Cause your guards were knocked unconscious.
And that seems to really alarm them as they like tense up and they go, "We should tell Utroth about this. This is worrisome." And they seem to
Yeah.
scowl and goes, they scowl and go and kind of mutter to themselves, like, "Is that how they sneak away each time? They." Hmm.
I woke
And they
up.
seem very disturbed at that thought.
I hear you was having a dream, but I woke up when you walked by my window.
Was it one of the eye dreams?
No, it wasn't
This,
the eye dream. No, I've I've had.
then, and they kind of like do the lizard folk version of a grin, um, sort of with their eyes, and they go, "Then it was a good dream that saved one of our tribe mates. Thank you."
I
And
I guess it was. Yeah.
and they're like, "Well, excuse me, I need to go tell Utroth about this." And
Yeah.
are you sure you are unarmed? Or
I'm better. I'll be okay. I've gotten. I got some healing from Toronto. I'll be okay.
good. And they don't want to seem rude, but they do hurry off to go share this rather alarming information with their boss.
Once he's away, she like sighs relief and like her posture relaxes a little from hiding the arm behind herself, and starts
But
trying
yeah,
to like put it back in shape.
the village is starting to stir now because there was a shout, and now people are like starting to walk around and spread the information starting to spread that a sleepwalker was stopped.
She scurries back towards where the other two are. They're alerting the chieftain.
Alright. Quiet Hearts, do you want to come with me to check on the guard stations?
Yes, that would be best.
Is the diver still here, or?
No, he like feels a little freaked out being so close to the edge of the village, and he Corrado and Quiet Hearts, you saw him scurry back into the village because he did get a little bit hurt, so he's going to go back home, probably tend to his wounds, and lock the door as best he can.
I think he's
He
returned
almost
to his
got-
home.
He almost got beat with my tendrils, but he is strong, so it's fine. Yeah, she's like the tendrils are like wrapping around a center point, and she's like grabbed the bandage thing and the ribbon and is like trying to tie it back around her arm. A little frantically because people are starting to wake up.
Okay, so what do we find at the first guard station that we get to? Is the guard waking
Okay, so
up?
you go to the closest one, and you kind of get there right about the same time that Utroth does, as they basically bark out, in the Saurian for him to get down, or whoever's up there to get down. But both of you do just a quick perception check.
Okay. 12!
Whoa! How's it feel?
Quite hurts you too.
Okay.
This is before you get over to the little watchtower thing.
Damn it, I almost hit persuasion again. I'm like, no. 23.
Okay. So they give message.
Oh, fun.
Okay. Just a quick little thing you noticed.
Okay.
So, depending on what you want to do with that information, but deal with that later. Walking up to the thing, you saw Utroth kind of barking at the guy to get down. And this lizard folk scales down pretty nimbly, kind of sheepishly, as you hear Utroth. Neither of you speak Saurian, I think, but you kind of can tell just by body language. The guard seems to be a little ashamed. Ow! Ow! I just smacked my
Right?
knuckle against the desk edge.
Oh no! Gray! Gray, are you snoring?
Gray
Oh,
is
sweet. It's not me this time.
How dare
he was
He's getting into character.
he was
method
moving
acting.
he was
Yes.
moving furniture all day, so
Yeah.
you? Yes.
Amon's asleep. We'll fill him in when he wakes up.
It's not me this time. Yay.
So I could text him actually, but yeah, you can tell this lizard folk guard is kind of getting a dressing down. Not a dressing down, but he's being questioned intensely by Utroth. How do you approach this situation?
just going to Corrado's gonna try to be delicate about it and wander up behind and go, is there any injuries that you need tending?
And they look over when you approach. The two of you approach, and the guard kind of looks themselves over and then shakes their head and goes, "As far as I can tell, I'm fine. I think I just nodded off, shameful as it is."
Is there something I could do to like look at them and see if that's true or if it was assisted sleep?
You know what? Let me think a second. I need to look at a character sheet to see what kind of skills might be useful. Hmm. Arcana would be useful if you were like looking at for residue of a magical thing, but medicine you might be able to.
Okay. My medicine is actually higher because that goes off of wisdom instead of intelligence.
Actually, since you're trying to, like, I could get different answers, I guess, depending on what you roll. But yeah, you could do medicine. I would even take an insight.
Could I use detect magic and try and aid them?
Sure. Perception, you might be able to if you're like, oh no, I guess it would be an investigation to like look for marks and stuff, closely at someone. But yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm
yeah,
giving you aid with detect magic.
Alright, so my insight is the highest.
okay.
Alright, let's see. That's 26, and I'm
Damn.
gonna roll again to make sure that I don't just
See
get
if
a
you
natural
get
20.
that crit fish,
Okay.
kingfisher,
Nope.
almost. So and Quiet Hearts kind of give this lizard folk the the once over, and Whiteheart's basically like doing the Terminator scan over this guy with the detect magic, and Corona, you would think that, well, actually, with your experience as being a wandering cleric and helping people, uh, and actually your experience with dealing with the lizard folk that the group rescued basically yesterday, that you're fairly certain that this was some kind of spell that was cast in Quiet Hearts. You get that same residual, like almost magic of what is a sleep spell? Yeah, it's that enchantment. Yeah, that enchantment of almost like a sleep spell or something adjacent.
Yeah.
Corona will shake her head and look at both lizard folk and go, that wasn't natural sleep.
There's traces of magic here.
Utros scowls and goes, "How to explain how so many of us slip out without ever being noticed? How long have they been making us fall asleep?" And he's like, there's this like rising anger and that realization while the lizard folk guard, he looks more concerned and alarmed at that, because it's just like, oh god, what have I been missing kind of look. It's like, have I been the one letting people escape? At that high of an insight, I'd say you get that kind of vibe from him. He's like almost like that moment of like guilty panic. It's like, oh shit, is this my fault?
There's no blame here but the person that has cast this spell and is forcing your people to leave. This is a very cowardly attack.
Either of you can do a wisdom check. Check, not a save.
Okay.
Could Ray catch up with them now?
Oh, yeah, I was actually going to ask what you were going to do.
Wisdom.
Yeah, after she picked stuff, she came up behind them.
Did you say either or both? Did you say either or both?
Both of you.
Okay,
Yeah, both of you can make a. So, Quiet Hearts, you're just like, how did, it's just like, how could this have happened? You're trying to think of it, and then, Corrado, it's like, one of the things about a spell being cast, who cast the spell, and usually the spell has to be within, there's a range to spells. It's like, with that 20, you're like, okay, if there's a range on the spells, who cast this spell nearby?
Ray comes up and is like, hey, is the guard okay?
Somebody cast a sleep spell, and if I know anything about magic, magic has a range it can be cast from. And I don't think sleep is
Someone
very
cast
long.
a sleep spell on Clay.
I don't think a sleep spell is very long range, is it?
Is it?
Basic sleep spell isn't. Hold on, I had it up just a second ago.
60th range? I don't know.
90 feet, actually. Wow.
Oh, okay.
That's still pretty close.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, but I mean, for a first level spell, that's a good. That's
That's
range.
good distance, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna activate my magic eye and look around. Look like out into the woods as well.
God, Amon's really loud.
Scanner. Just scan around.
So, try to do a search.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm just.
Look at you.
What should I roll for this? And I'm terrible at everything, so it doesn't matter.
And you're trying to like look for something. Perception.
Yeah. Can I guidance myself?
Sure, since you're the one doing it. Oh wow. 10. It is dark. It is late, and
I will. I had a weird dream. I got the shit bit out of me.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, just I'll give this to you. Their attempt failed. Whoever did this might have vamoosed.
Yeah, they're long gone.
Does not surprise me.
So you think.
I think. Don't, God, please. If I can't, I don't see them. But I only got the one eye. So
Well, whatever happened, whoever did this, at least you know that you're not. You didn't fail.
you're not a bad guard.
You didn't fail in your guard duty. Somebody forced you to fail.
Anyone else who was here would have probably had the same thing happen.
This is
It's unsettling.
quite worrisome. We should send this news to the other village.
Guess that explains how they keep getting people.
Does explain why nobody sees anybody leaving. Yes.
Somebody puts the guards to sleep, and then.
And you actually remember from the other village, that is why Anchor the Warforged, who doesn't sleep, is always on patrol at night.
Oh, damn. If we're not going to be staying another night, are we? I don't think.
Don't think so. No.
You hadn't discussed what your plan was.
Yeah.
It was
We
for
should-
the morning post party.
Is it? What time is it?
It's probably like 3:33 in the
Oh my
morning.
god.
There's a reason the rest of us are asleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the dead hours of the morning.
We should get back to sleep, I
Or,
guess.
basically when I'm going to bed normally.
Yeah.
I don't say that proudly. I should not
I
be
don't
going
go
to
to
bed
bed
that late
till
at
2.
my age.
I don't go to bed till 2. I'm not ashamed of that.
You
I
also
guess
work
we
until
should-
10.
Yeah. I'm a night owl. I guess we should try and get a little more sleep, and we can figure out what we're doing from there.
Wise.
Puts
Corona's
a
gonna
hand
look.
on the.
Chrono's gonna look over into the to where we're sheltered and goes. At least Amon has not woken up.
Ray!
Ray!
He a tired boy.
Sleepy
Fucking
ass
wake up.
paladin.
I'll fucking wake up his ass. Hold on.
I texted him, but
I'm gonna
Probably
fucking
have to
call
call
him.
It's fine. He a sleepy boy.
I'm gonna wake up the sleepy boy.
It happens.
careful when waking up a sleeping bird, they peck.
Just tell him that TT needs his Milky.
He's-
It's fine.
Oh, God, if you tell him that,
I do
when he
kind of
answers
need
the
Milky.
It's time to go get some.
phone- Yeah, we'll take a quick little break. So, people need Milkies or other refreshments. Now's the time.
All right.
So are we?
Be back in a second.
Do we head back to bed for the rest of the night?
Yeah, we'll say that you go back. Some of you might have woken up during this. Amon's fast asleep, but Iwata, you might have woken up and noticed half the group is gone.
Graham,
He just goes back to bed.
That's a problem for awake me, and I'm not awake me yet.
That'll be a problem.
I don't
for
become
later.
awake me yet for another few hours. I haven't clocked
Yeah.
in yet.
He did a lot of pack muling.
Yeah, he deserves a sleep.
he deserves a sleepy. It's going to voicemail. Gray,
He's so sleepy.
he's
The snoring.
He's snoring.
You doing a snoozing.
Like I said, he has been moving furniture all day. Like,
Yeah. But he's
Like a
asleep at his
madman.
computer.
Yeah, and I don't think any of us have TJ's number. We
No.
might have to get that in.
he's so
Nah.
We'll just tell Gray what happened when he wakes up.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
not good for him to sleep at his desk though. So
Yeah.
No, I know that firsthand experience. Yeah, it's fucks your neck up for the next week.
Oh my god! I think he muted me in his sleep.
Hold on. Maybe.
It did a
I'm-
ring and stop.
I'm back.
Welcome
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Look,
Yeah. We're
you
just
go
gonna.
on. Some
Huh?
people can go on autopilot when they're woken up. I've apparently had entire conversations with people and then conked out the moment they turn their back and remember nothing.
Because like I have my phone on the bed when I'm asleep. Sometimes I've woken up to be like, I don't remember texting people this. It's like, oh yeah, I was dead asleep when that happened. What? Like, look at the timestamp.
I do not remember this.
It's like clearly I woke up because it's a coherent thought, but then it's just like I was so tired the memory just was not made.
What happened was the rats came in and ratatouille'd you to respond.
No.
Puppeteered.
Should
Don't rat out my tuies.
God, I just remember this one comic someone did where it's Mass Effect, Joker, the pilot's asleep, and Edie and Legion, the two robots, walk in, pick up his hand, and make him push that I am not a robot thing on a touchpad, and then just walk out.
Also, I have an idea of a thing to try to wake up Gray with.
Yes.
Air horn.
No, we're
Okay.
streaming this to YouTube, and I don't want to
Oh, hold on. I can mute.
kill Maple.
I can mute.
Yeah, we'll just let her know what he missed.
He's just on autopilot now.
He just
Yeah.
sleepy boy.
So
Yeah. Gonna have a crick in his neck when he wakes up.
Yeah.
so
So in the morning.
Yep.
Does anybody say anything to Rain before she goes back to sleep?
Kurano says nothing, but if you look at her, she is looking directly at you before she turns away.
Oh. Cool. How about Quiet Hearts?
What is that?
Do you say anything or do anything weird to Rayan before she goes to sleep?
No.
Okay.
I'm
Hi,
sorry.
it's me, Frank Klutzman. I'm gonna give you a noogie, Ryan.
You were found out by like two of the people who probably care the least.
I mean, I don't know about that.
Or maybe not like lack of care, but just like, oh, that's a thing Oceanborn do, I guess. From one, and then the other one doesn't care.
Our party is sort of supernaturally chill.
Stacked.
Alright, well, she goes to bed, but she does. As she huddles back up in her
Elise?
corner.
I don't mean this as an insult, but the least magical person in the group is literally the dinosaur samurai.
It is.
That's magical in its own way. She does like peek. She just like peek into her book and like look to the to the page. She thinks where the frog is.
You don't see the strange octopus skin page anymore.
Okay,
It's
she whispers into her book. Thanks.
And when you are closing the book, there's like a brief image, like you catch a brief glimpse of it on like the corner of one of the pages, just a little scribble of a frog, the same color red, but it's like once it closes.
Okay, and she goes up. She's gonna fucking heal off these bite wounds.
Peel off the bite wounds.
Heal off the bite. Sleep off the bite wounds.
Oh, heal. I thought you said peel. I'm like,
No,
like, just it's like, oh, there's a horrible bleeding wound. I'm just gonna peel it off like a sticker, and somehow it works. That's how the clown healing class works.
Hmm.
Okay. Is that him choking? Like coughing?
That was TT.
That's me coughing. That's me coughing. My allergies are getting to me.
Okay.
Apologies, I'll try to mute it.
Oh no, it's okay. It was just like I wasn't sure if that was like him coughing in his sleep because I do that too.
You can...
But
See, there he is.
Yep. So for the most part, you all go back and have a fairly restful sleep.
Yeah.
Depending on like personal dreams, on how soundly some of you sleep. But yeah, morning rolls around. You wake up to the smell of cooking food and the sound of the village, stirring itself awake for the day. And when you step out, you actually do see a lot of the lizard folk actually climb the rooftops and seem to be sunning themselves in the beginning of the day.
Oh.
Like they're endothermic, but they still enjoy basking in the sun.
Can't say that I blame them. She's gonna fly up into a tree and actually like open her wings and do the same thing. It's like, oh, that's a fucking great idea.
Yeah. So morning.
Ryan tries to sleep in.
Ryoko goes to get food. She did not sleep super well.
Okay. So yeah. Once again, it's not a celebration like it was last night, but there's seemed to be like a communal breakfast that when the lizard folk get hungry, they just come up and grab some, and it's the same, more yellow scaled lizard folk doing the serving out what's the main thing. It's kind of like a not like a gruel, but more like a fish and seafood stew. Not like a chowder, but kind of. It's different, and it's like there's other vegetarian options, of course. So people can eat what they want.
I've eaten weirder shit. I'll get some of that chowder.
Yeah.
I'm on snort once if you want some chowder too.
Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Your timing was perfect. Morning rolled around and everyone's waking up. You were doing some interesting method acting.
I called you like 3 times.
We're just ribbing you. All good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were trying to wake you up because we didn't want you to get cricket your dog from sleeping at your desk.
Fair.
Yeah. Morning rolls around. You are given decent breakfast. Utroth actually walks up to you, Rayed, and goes, "So, heard that it was you who actually stopped the sleepwalker from leaving. Our
Oh,
gratitudes."
yeah, no, it's not a big deal. I just woke up when I heard him walking past the window.
That's good because everyone else seemed to just sleep through it, or was made to sleep through it.
I'm pretty
You're
sure
lucky.
there was a spellcaster.
That's what your friends are saying. We're going to increase watch at nights, maybe with
Good
more
idea.
people on watch.
If I can
They can't affect everyone.
if I can make a suggestion,
Hmm.
have the watch groups keep a certain distance apart each other, so a casting of the spell can't hit multiple groups at once.
Fair. We'll keep that in mind. We don't have many spellcasters. Most of us that do is just some druidic talent, but that's we haven't had much need for it. But that might be outdated thinking.
I don't know. They weren't headed towards the reef, the cove. It was. It had the eyes. I saw the eyes in it.
That's.
We think
I
it
mean,
might
it
be
would
heading
make.
towards the mine we think is out there.
Now that we think that's there, that would make sense. And you did find others of our tribe wandering the island, hunting.
Yeah.
So they're on this island somewhere. And they seem frustrated when they, like, really frustrated when they say that. You can tell this is a bit of long-lasting frustration, vexation.
I'm sorry.
No, you are fine. You and your group have been very helpful.
I don't know. I guess.
With your group and Orovir and some of the other from the village, we may have one of the first chances in a long time to free this island. You've already started the first stage with slaying the Anzu.
Yeah. And hopefully we can stop the thing in the reef. I don't know what it is, but kidnapping people, and that's not cool.
Whatever is in there enslaved our friends, the Sahagin. We were
Maybe
we were friends with their tribe. They kept to the waters, we kept to the island, and we traded for what we had and what we didn't have. It was good. But now their minds are taken.
maybe if we stop the thing in the reef, they'll get their minds back.
You've broken our you've broken our members free of their control. That's encouraging enough. And not to mention the sacrifices we found at the workshop. They said they woke up from those sleepwalking. It's not permanent.
Yeah.
And actually, you did recognize one of the lizard, like I think there were like one or two lizard folk taken, rescued from the workshop. Then you did recognize them at the here in the village. They're seem to be healing up. They're actually very happy to see, thinking about it, they would have been very happy to see the group. Because like, oh, you guys, you're the group that freed us. Yay!
Yeah, you saved our fucking lives, guys.
Yeah, so they would have been very happy to see y'all. But, yeah. Utroth goes. I've
Yeah, we
noticed
need
you
to.
seem a little reluctant on violence, but this is violence that needs to be done.
I understand. I get it. I get that violence needs to be done. I understand that. I just wish it wasn't always that. That doesn't matter.
There's a slight rustle from your book.
Grab. She grabs her book.
And when you glance at it, there is it looks like you open it up to a random page as you usually do, and there's just a very detailed illustration, like a sketch, like some explorer sketch, and it's like Northern Sea Expedition Day such and such, and there's a sketch of a polar bear.
Oh. Huh.
And you remember that
Bear.
There is a big polar bear on the island.
and Utroth kind of grimaces and goes, "Ah, yes." And he basically says something in Aquan that basically translates to the great white terror.
I mean, he's really fluffy though. We could probably deal with it. We got to deal with him without fighting. We just kept him distracted.
That's impressive.
I mean, I just had some birds fly around his head. That's all. He's just a big hungry animal.
And he nods and he goes, and that's deserves that, the right to live. But I feel like I'm already convincing you of something that you're agreed to do. But this thing is stealing minds. It doesn't deserve life.
We need to save these people.
Yes. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm just talking in circles.
No, you're okay. I've done that a lot the past couple of days.
Kitty, stop.
Kitty.
Do not touch my butt. No butt touching.
I wonder if this bear is connected to the mine anywhere.
The what?
I'm wondering if the bear is connected to the mine.
I'm sorry. I personally didn't hear you. It was Utroth. He goes, I mean, the bear just seems like a wild animal. It was left over from what the other older members of the tribe have said. It's just left over from when the
Tradition, yeah.
the Ruby Empire was here.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Fucking fireworks!
Fireworks? Oh.
Yeah, it's that time.
It's Memorial Day weekend, huh?
It's gonna be from now until the end of summer, so.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I'm sorry
for holiday name Memorial Day. I never memorize it.
Where is the cove? By the way, the one that we keep mentioning.
Cove?
Where the thing is.
Oh, we don't know. Oh well, the reef surrounds the island.
Oh, so we don't
But-
have an exact point to go to.
But we believe it may be near or within or even under the. You're all good, Gray. We were just laughing. It's just Amon, had a very tiring day.
Yeah.
But there you go. We suspect its lair is within, around, or underneath the Sahagan village. We know where that is, and they say it is to the east of the island. Which it's like it'd be in this direction, but it's not that close to the island. It's a little bit further.
Oh, that's a ways out.
He goes, the ocean is fairly shallow there. Before it dive, it's fairly shallow as it goes to the reef, but then it dives deeper into the wider ocean past the reef.
We should head there.
This island ages ago was volcanic. No living lizard folk here has ever seen the mountain, burn, but it's apparently that is how this island was formed years ago, ages ago.
Guess that's our next stop, is to the reef.
Question is, well, we can handle it ourselves. I assume your large friend wouldn't want to carry the bell back to the other village.
Probably not.
If we need to, we
Hey,
can.
Yamane!
Joanna is probably overeating.
Yeah. Hey, Yamane!
Or
You prefer not to have to carry the bell all the way back to the other village, right?
Utroth walks over to join the rest of the group.
Oh.
We should probably get the rest of the group to discuss this.
I mean, if I gotta.
But if you don't have to, you'd prefer to not, right?
Well, I don't know where it's gonna go, so.
Utroth was talking about helping us, so.
Yes, Utroth, if you're... I'm just going to assume everyone's awake by this point and gathered, probably eating their breakfast. Utroth goes, yes, what is your plan for continuing on?
Big
We're going to the reef, right? Like where the Sahagan village is?
The Swag not try to kill us?
There's also the marrow that arrived with this threat.
We're gonna have to...
From what the Sahagan, from what I remember from talking with them, the marrow were always an enemy of theirs from the deeper ocean. Always raiding them.
I'm guessing the marrow were either taken over first or are already aligned with the three-eyed thing.
But we can give you we can tell you where it is. It's the only thing is, it is something of a trek. Well, if you go using the bell, and he kind of frowns and he goes, I don't mean to be presumptuous, but I can't think of another way those of you who can't breathe underwater are going to be able to make it there.
Oh, if we could we take a boat to the village?
That's the thing. To our village, or oh wait, do you mean the island village
To the Sahagan village? Like, we're not leaving the island, but like, could we be on one long enough to get closer?
it would be destroyed long before you get there. They
But
have
it would
that.
cut down on some of the time we'd be walking on the floor, the ocean floor, right?
True. Although you ring that bell on a boat and that boat's gonna fall. He goes, we've had mishaps when we used it until we just decided to carry it from the shore to where we went. The few times it was wrong while we were on a boat, the water was repelled all the way as the bell fell with the boat to the bottom of the floor, to the bottom of the ocean. Which thankfully we were using them in shallow water, so it wasn't too disastrous, but we did lose our boats. It's just you don't want this on deep water being rung
Yeah,
on
I
a normal
understand.
ship. There's a reason why these were used during the wars to sink ships and entire navies.
So we're just gonna have to trek across the bottom of the ocean.
And the shipwreck village is closer to that, so it'd be easier to walk from there than circumvent the island walking from here.
That's not what she's talking about. She's saying going from like here, somewhere around here.
Yeah. Because you all washed ashore here where this little marker is. And thinking about that, you realize that you swam west to get to the island when you were floating. So there is a good chance you swam over the reef. Or no, you did have to swim over the reef, but as Utra starts pointing out, and actually Kuroto, since you have navigation skills and you were flying to help guide people in when this happened, you're pretty sure that you swam over the Sahagan village.
Okay.
Or the group did. Which, I don't know if anyone is slightly thalassophobia. That kind of, as I said that, gave me the chills.
What do you guys think?
We could take a boat close, and then
That was just what I was saying.
Please do not cut you. And then before activating it, we could have somebody who is strong and can swim well jump off the side of the boat and then activate it.
You would have to deal with the deep singer. Yeah, and it kind of just because they say deep singer and Aquan, and they're like the whale.
Whale?
Your ship was shattered, yes? It is a common story for people who wash ashore here.
I forgot that there was a whale.
Another victim.
The terrible dogfish.
I'm pretty sure that you learned that it is a juvenile whale too. It's not fully. It wasn't fully grown. I think someone at the other village talked about it.
Yep.
Yeah, whale seems to be controlled by the thing in the reef.
Yeah, Iwate would know that even a juvenile whale, not something to fuck with.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't us walking along the ocean floor also draw all kinds of attention?
Utrath goes, well, we'd be swimming into combat with you. Our tribe is going to join this assault.
Oh, you're all coming.
And he kind of looks taken aback and goes, was that not the assumption? We are uniting the island to free it. That's why I've been working with Orovir and why
that makes sense. It just didn't click in my mind that we were all
the missing pieces.
Oh.
And he kind of he goes, I apologize. I thought this was known.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, but I just didn't connect the dots.
It was Oravir's idea once he learned of the bell, when we told him of it, when we were complaining about the Anzu, that it was his idea that would be a way to march down into the reef, since there's not many that can swim that far or deep.
Yeah.
I said not many.
I don't. This
And
isn't
he
not
kind of
communicating
looks to
thing.
Quiet Hearts. He looks to Quiet Hearts. He goes, we confess that is why we gave you the shield, so that you would be able to join us.
Nods. I understand.
I'm not bad at swimming, but breathing underwater is still beyond me.
That's what the bell is
If
for.
we can keep the bubble consistently made it, even if it collapses, as long as we can continue to ring the bell, we should be able to breathe. We lizard folk can hold our breaths for a while, but
Ryoko sits down with a bowl of clam chowder. What are we talking about?
Our plan. We
have a plan?
Kinda.
Of a sort.
It seems to be we gather everyone on the island and fucking charge into the reef.
Oh shit, we're going to war.
I guess.
Bitchin'. You guys have this chowder?
It's actually fairly similar to the seafood surprise chowder that was being served on the boat, where it's the leftovers of everything just tossed together, so you can, it's like seafood jambalaya. Chowder jambalaya. Actually, that kind of sounds good. Shit. Okay, now I'm making myself hungry. Anyways,
yeah, that's what we're thinking.
And Ushrath goes, well, we marshal our forces and continue to search for this mine. Will you be traveling back to the village?
Yeah. There's
The news of your victory should be spread, and news of our plan.
There are also other people there who can breathe underwater, so if they're able to help us, it couldn't hurt.
Oh yes, we've met Anchor before. He is an interesting machine. He seemed quite eager when we floated the idea by him.
Reagan makes a face.
Floated. I get it.
You
swimming.
know that Anchor admitted that when his ship wrecked, he basically had to walk along the bottom of the ocean, hoping he was heading in the right place for an island. But that's kind of one of the things. If you're a warforged who doesn't have flotation device or marasite alloys built in, you're kind of fucked. Anyways, I was just picturing a warforged falls in the ocean. It's just like, oh, they'll be fine. They float to the surface because they have a built-in inner tube that deploys. Their hand turns into a little propeller, and they just like, okay, catching up to the boat. Anyways, so yeah, So, how EM asking the group, what are y'all doing next? How are you heading to the village? If that's where you want to go next, or there's a whole island. You do have like several different leads, like Gleaza's notes mention like these red marks, including by the Onkeg, the big hive, where different Ruby Empire and Merician Empire outposts in the past that her and Pislop the Closet had been ransacking for, salvage. But, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. The polar bears somewhere. I'm just leaving them there because that's where you ran into them initially.
Not sure what we could do with the polar bear.
I'll pop the collar off it at least.
Get killed by it.
Like, other than run away real fast, there's not much else we can do.
Because you're up on this village marker on the northeast, or northwest.
Let's see.
You fucking want, Cat? Get the fuck out.
And there's a couple areas of note. There's 4 red marks.
Well, that marker there by the swamp was Gleaza's workshop.
Okay. There's 3 markers of note then.
Yeah,
Well,
those were pointed out by Pislop in the paperwork of the workshop, saying that there was areas of note for them to investigate. The Onkeg hive was built like seeming to grow around and absorb what looked to be some old ruins, like an old outpost. But they're like, that's probably, might be something interesting in there. We're not going in there yet. Easier to salvage in other places. But there's I think it was the lighthouse to the south, and then outpost to the north, which is the closer one.
Maybe we should stop by. Well, at least take a look near the Ankeg.
And that skull by the river is the skeleton Roman.
I forgot about him.
Because
yeah, they mentioned that there seemed to be a person with the Ankeg, and that could mean something.
and Utrath, who's still there, goes, "Oh, right. I can go find them and bring them. They were on night hunt, so they'd be back in the village by now." But if that's what you want to do,
she's offering this. She is offering this to the group.
So what you're proposing is you want to go check out, investigate near the bug hive, because that rumor of a person.
Yeah, like some kind of maybe bird bug person, but didn't sound like a Haruto or the other, like the grasshopper people. But it sounded like something of note. And it is also
that did have a mark. That have the grasshopper person.
Yeah,
it was a 3 crane. It was labeled as 3 crane.
Okay. They're not a Thrakino or a Haruto, but there's something, and there also is a spot there that Gleaza noted that has stuff.
All of you know what a Haruto is, basically, but none of you have fucking heard of a 3 crane.
Yeah, it's not a Haruto or a Thrakine there. But what?
You just shrugs. You said a weird word, but you don't know. You don't know a whole lot.
Looks up at him. What? Thrakine?
Whatever that is.
Oh,
Well, I'm good with whatever. Just point my blade in direction.
she flips to the page with the Thrykean. Shows it to Ane. See? Thrykean. I don't think you can read it, but it's marked as such.
The writing isn't common when you look at it. It just looks like it's like an anatomical study, like comparing like the size and height of a Thrykean to, an elf. But
That's a bug, all right.
That's a person.
It's a bug person.
Yeah. Which, if there's people like these, there's obviously going to be like shorter ones. And if they're living with the Ankeg, that means they're not getting eaten by the Ankeg. And that would be a helpful thing for other people on the island. Or it could even be linked to the mines.
That just had a little bit. Is like, so what are we doing? Are we trying to figure out the whole mine thing, or are we going off to the ocean to get whatever that is?
Well, we're doing that eventually, but we're trying to figure out if we want to go anywhere else before there. And that's kind of on the way.
Now, I will say that above game, you don't have to go and hit every point of interest before you decide to launch this assault. I will say that as like an objective standpoint. You will still have time to explore the island after that, because as far as you know, there's like no intact boats, so that's going to be a whole thing. Trying to figure out how to get off the island once it's safe.
Rayan is suggesting this one because it's not too far out of our way from the village to here. It's like we got to cross around here anyway, so it's not too far out of the way. It has the Ankeg, which normally avoid, but there seems to be there's at least 2 points of interest at the Ankeg, and it's not too far out of our way.
And approaching, yes, there's a Utroth with another hunter lizard folk who seems to be like rubbing at his eyes blearily, or her eyes, late night. And they go, "You woke me up to speak about something I saw."
Yeah, by the Ankeg, you saw a bug person, like a Thrykean?
And they kind of look at, they side-eye Utroth, and who just is like, well, gestures like, well, go on. And they go, I know people don't want to believe me usually. I may have colorful imagination, but I swear to you that I did see what looked to be a small humanoid, if that humanoid was an Ankeg. Or if that Ankeg was a human.
Rayan casts Silent Image, trying to first as an Ankeg. Okay, tell me what to like. What is this too big?
So that we're not like doing a
She's
sketch
using
artist
the visuals
thing
to tweak the illusion every time.
Yeah, do a persuasion check. You're gonna persuade the memory out.
Okay. Oh God.
Well, I mean, is it that weird? We met a spider fella.
Natural 20?
So as you start talking with this lizard folk, you just seem to like start asking the questions, and they start recalling, and they're like, no, it's not an Ankeg. It was like, and as they like start describing it, you realize that, like, oh, natural 20. They have a moment. They're like, wait, they weren't. They were walking like a person, and they kind of like reached out and like they like just they like mess with they like as if they want to mess with the illusion as if it's a clay model or something, and
Yeah.
they like they do it. It's like, I mean, if I had a second guess, maybe it was armor.
Armor?
I mean, she looks over to Uchath and goes, I mean, we've made
Armor made
armor
of
out of
Ankeg.
crab and crustacean exoskeletons, or shells. It's not unheard of. On kegs, it's just they're so acidic that after you kill them, they just kind of melt. So we don't hunt them, and they're just usually too dangerous to hunt.
He tries to match the illusion to that description. Someone wearing Ankeg
And
armor.
with that natural 20 and their help, and with that realization, you realize that they saw what could possibly be a small-sized person wearing Ankeg exoskeletal armor.
Oh, so this could
I'll
be
give
like
you that with the fucking natural 20.
so funny. So a dwarf or a halfling or just another smaller
Say
person
gnomes.
or gnome.
There was
Yeah,
a gnome on the boat.
yeah. One of them wearing Ankeg armor. Thank you very much. I might try and reach out to them.
And the hunter kind of shoots this look at Uchath like, see, I wasn't crazy.
And this Ryan shoots out to look. See, she isn't crazy.
So, okay. Oh shoot, it's already 8?
Yeah,
Been 4 hours already.
It is almost 10 o'clock. Jesus.
it is almost time. Yeah.
We didn't even leave the village. Oh no, I was worried about that.
Well,
I
what
was
do you
worried
guys?
we would spend the whole episode in the village. Oops.
That's okay. We had role playing and stuff. What do you guys think? Do you want to just go straight to the village, straight to the shipwreck village and to the reef? Or you think maybe stopping by somewhere else along the way is a good idea?
It couldn't hurt to stop. The more allies we have against this thing, the better the chances.
Yeah, like someone smart enough to make armor out of Ankeg is. It sounds like that's a hard thing to do.
Well, no offense, but even if they are friendly, what are a bunch of Ankegs gonna do underwater?
I mean, nothing the Ankeg are gonna do, but the person might do something. And there's also a Ruby Empire thing right there that Gleaza herself wasn't able to get into because of the Ankeg. So that's gotta be something there useful.
Could be something there, yes, that's magical.
Yeah.
And you did get the artificer did say that if you did salvage interesting machinery or machina, that they would reward with potions.
Yeah, so I
other
think
stuff.
there's other spots that are also interesting, but there's 2 things there to investigate, and it's not too far out of our way.
Wait, are you talking about going to the big hive?
Yeah, this.
Okay, okay, I should clarify. The hunter said they saw this at one of the, using actual animal terms, the satellite nest, not the main nest.
Okay, where's that one?
Closer to the swamp, like.
Okay, that's still not too far.
You'd have to go through the swamp again or around the mountain south, but
So around here.
Sure, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that marker though is literally a ruin that has been overgrown and absorbed by the. So it is a single land point for that one. It's not like two separate ones. It's the ruins got like they were building next to it, and it just grew and grew until it absorbed it. You know, like how trees will grow around things that are left near it or tied to it long enough.
Yeah. Well, that's 2 spots, not too far out of our way.
And Utroth goes, I do not wish to dissuade you. The main hive is probably, after killing the Anzu, it is probably the most dangerous place by just sheer amount of things that want to kill you there.
We don't.
I do not wish to dissuade you. It's just if you try to go to the main hive, be ready for a very protracted fight. We don't go near there anymore because they are highly territorial. The satellite nest you may have better luck with. It's just
Yep. We'll go to the satellite nest first, and if we think we're able to, we might be able to just like sneak by them or go into there without stirring their ire.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you can fly safely now.
I can. It's very nice, actually.
yeah, Quiet Heart. Quiet Hearts. That reminds you that you did see something else flying around the swamp. When you were climbing the mountain to go after the Anzu, you saw something flying around the swamp.
There are other things in the sky besides the Anzu. They may grow
Like
bold.
it was something bigger than the bandit flies you've already encountered.
Hmm.
If I have to go very high, I will be careful.
Oh, does that sound like a plan?
It sure does.
Oh my God, you're alive.
I guess so, yeah.
If there's anybody
Since we're going to be passing by there anyways.
So the plan is to go check out this side nest and the reports of a tiny little Ankeg person.
Yes.
Like
and then if we are able to investigate this place.
I'm just warning you, above game. This is me literally flashing the big flashing sign that says this is skull mark territory. You are not prepared for this area, and this is the NPC also going.
Yes,
if you go there, there's a good chance you're going to die without preparation. Just walking in.
I understand. We're not just going to walk directly.
It's the Cazador Deathclaw area of New Vegas.
We're not just going to walk into their nest. We're going to take a look, see if it is at all viable to, explore without picking a fight with them. If it's not, we'll just keep going. We're not just going to
simply walk into the nest.
I'm sorry, but this is basically the fantasy. This is the fantasy equivalent of a xenomorph hive.
We're not going into the xenomorph hive.
We're just gonna go outside the entrance, which is totally safe.
Yeah, everybody knows it's safe there.
Here first, and then we're going to circle around.
See, we're going to the mini boss area first.
Besides, they only come out at night, mostly.
We're just gonna skirt really close to the edge of their territory and assume that they won't go past the arbitrary border we've created around it.
Besides, I feel bad for the facehugger that tries to facehug Ryan.
But will you feel bad for the one that facehugs me?
Yes, because you'll set it on fire.
Yeah, we will blow it the fuck up.
It's okay. Ryoko's got someone's got an acid resist potion. It'll be fine.
D&D, you don't walk it off.
So, I don't know how long people can continue. It's late. I'm kind of hungry. I think there's pizza here, so I don't mind stopping here. It's normally the cutoff time.
It seems like a good stopping point. We've got a plan going for next time.
We can set out.
Yep, we're gonna go approach the Deathclaw nest, but not enter it, and therefore we'll be okay.
We're just gonna.
No, we're entering the smaller Deathclaw nest first.
We're
just gonna buzz the
slowly-
Deathclaw nest. It's fine.
Well,
someone's
it's like
living amongst them. They might be able to help us out.
it's like trying to inch towards them, and then you burn all your ammo and realize that was a young one. And then suddenly the matriarch clocks you.
I remember the time I accidentally wandered into a Deathclaw nest. I fucking reloaded several saves back and lost a bunch of progress because I was trapped with the Deathclaws.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah. I had to apologize for falling asleep. That was my bad.
Oh no, you're good.
You're good.
Uh-huh.
It's all right. The tithe will be paid.